Welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt.
I am Todd.
As far as Dr. Hannah Anderson is concerned.
That's right. She
we
doesn't
are
know who I
Matt and
am.
Todd.
We're
Top
Matt and
secret.
Todd.
Right?
That's right.
Today we have Dr. Hannah Anderson on. She's going to be going through some blood work that I did, and we're going to be talking about health and fitness and things like that. So if you're fat, or if you're ill, or you're not feeling very good,
If you don't poop good,
or if you're just
if you're not a good pooper, I remember thinking about that.
Really?
I remember like Dr. Oz being on Oprah and them saying, "Good BMs, man." That's when your health is when that's happening.
I never thought I would ask so many people how they poop. That's literally, you're like, I'm going to be a doctor. And you're like, you're going to have to ask everyone how they poop.
Yeah, you like shit.
They don't
you
tell
like
you
a lot
that
of
part.
shit. You're gonna have to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But you get desensitized to all that stuff.
Yes.
Well,
After so many times.
Junior is a medic, and he's in a hospital, and he's doing like colostomy stuff. And what's the thing where they stick the probe in your butt and they go up and is that what does they call that when you check out your prostate? Like people are having surgery.
scope? Like
there
that,
you go.
yeah.
So he's scoping, he's cleaning, and I'm just like, that sounds horrible. He goes, it's just what you do every day.
Yeah, it's normal.
How
Good.
much of that, though, takes away the romance? You know what I mean? Like
When you stick a probe
it's
in
like when you're
somebody's butt.
dating somebody for a while and you're like, I really don't want to see you in the bathroom. You know?
Pooping?
Yeah, when you're just dating. It's like you have this
I've been married
fantasy.
like 5 years. We're still at that level. Like, I
You're
don't
still-
know.
see?
Shut that
See?
door.
Yes. Oh, I'm with you.
Not my wife. Not
See,
my wife.
I don't poop in front of my lady, and I don't pass
good.
gas in front of my lady. I
good
just think
man.
it's kind of
Aw.
gross.
Such a
Why would I want her to smell my
Sweetheart.
shit? That's what I think. This is literally what I think. Why do I want her smelling my shit?
yeah. I don't ever purposely.
So it's not a.
I don't.
It's not a. Oh, it's so sweet. It's like that's just what you do for people. Now you, I pass gas in front of you anytime.
yeah. I never have that thought. I never think, oh, I wonder if
You
she
don't
would
ever
like to
feel a little
smell my-"
pressure and go, I'm probably not going to do this. In
No,
front of her.
I don't
It's mean."
intentionally. I never intentionally go after her nasal cavities.
No, but you do have
But
to
there
stop
are some
and
people
ponder.
that do that. There are
Oh.
some people. There are some men who are like, ha ha ha. Oh,
Yeah.
Dutch oven thing, whatever.
Oh, they're gross people.
Todd,
What?
before we get into my blood work and how unhealthy I am, and I
Yeah.
probably have just a dash of AIDS. Just a dash.
Oh God, you're terrible.
Todd, why don't you talk about some of the current events? Let's timestamp this.
All right, so we're in the middle of the Olympics. I like this because usually we're right up there with everybody. Like we're with everybody else, and we're doing well. And China's doing good. Russia's doing good. The big powerhouse nations are doing pretty well.
Okay.
But we are like annihilating the world in the Olympics.
Is that because of drones?
No, that's a good call. 'Cause that's also one of my subjects. But no, we're
Everybody's
just
scared shitless
we're
to go outside
legitimately-
anymore.
We're legitimately
So we're the
like
only ones that
just
can really train.
creaming everybody. I forget the gentleman's name, but he did the 50 meter freestyle for the swimming.
Okay. Is it Locke?
Nope, it's not him. He's a dumbass, first of all. Anyways, this guy, I forget his name, but he's 35. He's
No,
35.
seriously, tell us
last
how you
time,
feel.
last time he did the Olympics, he lost. I think got a silver or bronze. This time he won and kind of redeemed himself in his own mind. He said, but he did 50 meters flat out, no breathing. He had his head down in the water and was just cranking, and other people were breathing, but he had like one breath. And I'm like, I wonder what that does to a body. Do you start burning the sugar in your cells because you're not
Hypoxic?
exchanging oxygen at all?
Is that hypoxia?
You could. I mean, he's probably trained. Trained insane
Right.
amounts
Right.
to be able to
I
do
mean,
that.
in a few months, it's going to come back that all of our athletes were doping somehow.
Well, yeah. Well, the reason why
That's why we're winning over Russia.
That's
the
right.
real- yeah.
Well, the reason why
Nobody
I say Locke is a
outvotes Russia.
dumbass is that after the last Olympics, he and Phelps were like the two golden children, right?
Yeah.
And so he was going to have his own reality show, and he was so dumb in the reality show. Like they would say, like,
No.
"Hey, are you going to
No,
go
no,
mail a letter? Are you going to go to the DMV?" Oh yeah, I don't know. Like he he looks. He's a very pretty man. He looks gorgeous, great body. Looks like a prince. Just dumb as a box of rocks.
All right,
So they canceled this reality show. And you would think that if they're going to have one reality show with a dumb box of rocks, it'd be an Olympian. But he was so bad that they canceled the show. And now he's left Rio and came back to America.
Yeah.
And there's an investigation for some
Right,
kind of
yeah.
robbery
He,
or
like,
something.
still fled the
And he
country.
fled
Yeah.
the country because some kind of, I don't even know the ins and outs of
No,
it. But
he was robbed.
they
Right, but they don't
allegedly
believe
they don't believe them because if something happened, they were somewhere they shouldn't have been or something like that, and
He was paying a Rio prostitute.
Well,
something-
his
well-
story was different from everybody else's story who's with him. Like, they were all like, yes, this is what happened. He said a completely different thing. And then he was like, bye, and went to America, and everybody else got pulled off of the plane.
and they're not allowed to be there. Like they can't leave the country. So it's kind of a
Well,
big
I would
deal.
have fucking fled too. I don't know if you're stuck somewhere and you're a celebrity.
The best one was the basketball
Rio.
players who went to the brothel. Did you hear about that one?
What?
There's like 5 basketball players for the United States,
Okay.
and they accidentally went to a
That's so
brothel.
stupid. Honestly,
They
if I
thought,
was
it was a massage parlor, which in my mind, kind of the same thing. I don't know, a massage parlor and a brothel. I mean, you're still going to get a hand job or something's going to happen.
how
at
dare
a,
you?
At a
I know some very respectable
Basketball players?
masseuses.
They probably don't call their shop a parlor, though.
Yeah, a massage.
You know what? Maybe.
parlor.
Maybe that's what takes it down a notch.
When someone's
Yes.
like, I'm a therapist, that's a little different.
I always have
I'm
to
a
ask.
genital therapist. I don't know if you know that about me, but
I always want to ask massage therapists, like, how often has it crossed the line where somebody's like, come on?
I have a friend. I have
They're
a,
probably
I have
like
a,
too many.
Yeah. I
Like,
would-
probably
honestly,
too many times.
I have a friend who said that she was doing a normal massage thing, like she's a
Was it-
trained.
Was it Lori? Was
no, as a friend of my dad's.
Okay.
And the guy rolled over after she rubbed his back, and he had a huge erection. And she's like, "That's not what we do here." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, that's just kind of what happens sometimes." And she's like, "Well, okay, well, I'm leaving."
One, I think
Yeah.
it's ridiculous that a
I'm
man should
uncomfortable with that.
apologize. And two, that's a totally if there is a natural thing ever to have happened to the human body, it's an erection.
Right.
You went
She got-
someplace. No. I
You're
mean,
right. She got the
he-
impression that he was expecting that. I think that
Right.
if somebody has a natural reaction, has an erection by getting rubbed down,
I
don't-
totally had to get over that. I had to get over that early on.
So you got a boner every time you got a massage.
Not every time, but it's happened. Listen, you're naked. I don't mean to break it down for everybody, but I will. You're naked. You're being touched in a way that feels so good you're willing to pay money for it. It feels better than what your wife can do for you. She's a professional.
I beg to differ.
No,
That's just me, though.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I beg to differ.
So the fact that happens, that there's blood flow, like just circulation. Now, I'm not trying to be vulgar, like, hey, I got some blood flow. But when you have blood flow and there's circulation and there's somebody's touching you, why wouldn't that happen?
Are you going to call bullshit a little bit on this or no?
Well, there's a difference between accidental and then if a guy rolls over and is like, are you going to take care of that for me? Like, it doesn't
Yes.
even have to be a
Right.
vulgar sentence.
Right.
It can be like the most tame sentence, but if like as a female, especially as a female who touches a lot of patients,
Right.
like, yeah, that would send me straight out the door.
Well, what if
I like
So quickly.
I like her
now
a lot.
Todd
She's
and
really
I
great.
talked about the importance of where you're from and what you say and what you can get away with. Here in the United States, if I said cunt, generally 90% of the people are going to go, dude, do you have to?
yeah.
Please don't say that word. I hate that word, the C word. Ugh. We call it the big Charlie at work.
I like that way
It's
better.
code.
Yeah.
It's
Big
code.
Charlie. That's
Big
funny,
Charlie.
though. That's good. I like
Yeah, she's being a big Charlie today.
that.
Anyway,
Or he is being a big Charlie.
or he, but I generally don't say that. But if somebody's from London or Australia and you're like, "Aye, don't be such a cunt," you're like,
That was neither London or Australia. That
whatever.
accent.
we call it Irish pirate.
Yeah,
we call it the Irish pirate because nobody knows.
It's
what
a
it
big
is.
mixture, but that's what I do.
Fair.
But we were saying that, right?
Yes.
Like, if,
No, you're right. I agree.
I forget who were we talking about that said that.
Oh, it was Dr. Derek Marks because he was in Australia.
Right.
I think you brought it up.
But if somebody from a different country says something, we're like, "Oh, that's just what they say. Not a big deal." It doesn't like
Right.
hurt us. Whereas if an American from Iowa says it, it's like,
my ears
"Oh,
are bleeding. Yeah.
please don't ever say something so foul ever again." I don't know how we got on
Well,
this.
I don't know either, but so it looks like that the U.S. swimmers weren't ever robbed at gunpoint, but they had vandalized something. And so they're all kind of being held accountable.
All right. So
The good part is I
with-
don't see much in here about Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. So
With-
it's kind of nice.
with bathroom sinks falling through their countertops because traditionally Olympic areas, events, buildings are done so quickly
Right.
and so shoddily Like that word? Is that a better word?
It's horrible. But
Pretty
go ahead,
nice,
keep going.
right?
No.
Shoddily.
Shoddily. No, it sounds like you don't know how to speak. That's okay. Go ahead.
Shoddy?
Shoddy.
Shoddy.
Shoddy work.
You know what? For anybody listening, if you want to
We have 5-minute
email,
tirades about
if you want to
words.
email whether or not the use of my word shoddily is are you saying it's not a real word?
I think it sounds silly, but I don't know. It could be a real word.
Anyway, shit day.
There you go.
The work was done so poorly
Yeah.
that for somebody to say, I think you've analyzed that. I think you installed it for shit.
Wow, that's a huge leap to assume that because
Well,
they're
listen,
being held accountable for
there's
vandalism
how
to say,
many-
or a bad sink went through a sink. It doesn't say anything in here about a sink.
You just pick sinks.
I was
I
like,
do
why'd
like
you-
that
yeah,
part.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
That
like-
was the one
Yeah.
story that
Vandalism, I bet it's sinks, not
It's
spray
probably
paint.
that goddamn
Not-
sink.
They didn't break
she can
anything.
leave right now. If you don't agree with me, you're out.
But you're right, though, because wasn't there, I want to say during the first week of the Olympics, people were not allowed to swim in certain areas because of all the disease.
Couldn't put their head underwater.
They couldn't
Like
put their head-
medically, they couldn't put their head
Yes.
underwater.
Some guy who was kayaking, he was a gold medal winner kayaker, ran into a couch that was floating in the water, and he lost the gold medal because he hit a goddamn couch.
Wouldn't you say do over? Wouldn't you?
I
wouldn't
don't
they
know
say
what you would
do-over?
do, but I would think they'd be like, this is really bad. But the thing is that Rio is like a lot of other kind of
Known for their
third
butts.
world issues where it's like you have extreme wealth
Yeah.
and extreme poverty.
And the weird
You
part
know?
is the extreme wealth is down closer to the shore, and the extreme poverty is up in the mountains. Whereas
Why is that
here-
weird?
Because in California, the extreme wealth is up in the mountains, right?
No.
No?
Nothing the coast do.
All right, another shitty opinion from Matt.
Well played, my friend. Well played. So let's
I
see.
can admit when I'm wrong.
I'm so glad you can do that because it never, ever happens.
What else you got?
What was the other thing? Shoot.
I said
had-
drones, and you go, oh, got one of those.
Yeah. Obama talked about how they do targeting when it comes to drones, how they choose to target and do things. And at this point, I would be, willing to say that maybe we should redo our whole entire drone policy if we're going to keep killing people. But I don't know enough about drones and how it works. I just know that we kill a lot of innocent people with drones. No?
Don't we kill a lot of innocent people
With
when you're
sinks?
at war?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I hate to be a jerk about this. I never want to see women and children and innocent people dead. But when you sugarcoat it, when you sugarcoat what is happening over there and you don't call it a war, then people start having this weird fantasy that we could possibly have a conflict and only the bad guys die.
I like that.
For whatever reason,
good
we've
point.
convinced ourselves that only bad people die in war.
Yeah.
No. So
Collateral damage, for lack of a
if
better
people
term.
don't want the drones and they want their sons and daughters on the front lines going in face to face, and I know we're doing that anyway, but it's reduced a great deal because of drones. If you want to send your kids into harm's way even more, then yeah, let's get rid of drones. But if you want to say, you know what, I hate what's happening with the drones, then maybe you should vote and say, I hate what we're doing outside of our borders, period.
Right.
Which I'm all for also.
One of the weird things for me is because I have not watched television for so long. I sat and watched a football game.
Because you have like crayon time, you have reading time, you have specific time that you can do
No.
stuff and that you're away from your electronics.
No.
Other than-
I have plenty of other shit to do in my life besides TV, and I didn't think that I did. I've read 4 books this summer, which I usually don't read that much because I don't have that much downtime.
Are you,
I've read 4
are you
books.
on a schedule more than you've ever been in your life?
No, I'm on less of a schedule than I ever been. But I've given myself the free time, that time that I do have that's free. I'm like, I'm not going to sit and watch TV. So I'll go outside and I'll shoot hoops or with my kids, or I'll sit down and read a book, or I'll read a book to somebody else. You like that, don't you?
Have you listened? Hannah, I'm not going to judge you. I won't judge you too harshly.
She's going to make fun of me. I already know it. I can feel it coming on.
The first one is, I won't be mad. Have you ever listened to our show? When we asked you on the show, did you check out the show?
I checked out the show when I recorded with somebody else in your old studio.
Oh.
So it was a while
With
ago.
Jackie Fetter.
Yeah. After
Okay.
I recorded with her, then I was like already on a podcast streak, and I was like,
Can't wait.
that's why I was like, how long is this going to be? Because the one I listened to was like 2 hours.
Are you going to her wedding? Are you going to her wedding? Do you go to her
No,
wedding?
I'm not.
Okay. She's coming. Is she getting married pretty
She doesn't
soon?
like you
Soon,
very
like this
much.
weekend.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
working.
He's working.
That's where.
Yeah.
Where was that? Oh, okay. So you have seen the show, but you might not have seen the episode where we discussed Todd reading to his significant other.
Okay, so the love of my life. You'll love this.
No.
Fuck off.
Don't become a white knight.
No, I'm not going to be a white knight.
Do it.
The first thing
No,
out of your
I'm
mouth.
going to say is that
Dude, the
it
first
really
thing out of
is
your
fun.
mouth.
I love it.
The first
You
thing
read
out
out
of your
loud to
mouth.
her?
She reads. Well, she'll read. We'll take turns.
I will tell you how much better this is. Okay, so my husband,
Oh.
he's an attorney. He's a very fast reader. Like that's the whole part of being an attorney is you just have to read faster than everybody else. That's what I'm convinced. But so I, on the other hand, like totally went through school like math, science. My reading comprehension was like nothing on the ACTs. So what? Instead of me reading a book, I'd be like, "Hey, did you read that book?" But he's really good at giving summaries. And he's like, "Yeah, I read that." So for like an hour in the car, we'll pass time. He'll tell me an entire book, and I will not have read a single thing. And I'll be like, "Cool, I don't have to read it now."
I want a brain like that. That's sick.
It's great. It saves me
That's
from a lot
awesome.
of TV shows, movies. Like that's all of them. He's like, "No, I read it. Like I remember all of it."
So you think it's dumb?
What? That you read to her?
And she reads to me.
No, I wouldn't want to be the one reading, but yeah, I would sit there.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Hannah. I feel so much better about myself.
I have found myself enjoying reading aloud more.
To your kids?
No, fuck that. To
To your dogs,
Of course.
just the dogs.
Of course, yeah.
no,
You sons of bitches, you're lucky you're not dead.
Dr. Hannah, I don't know if you noticed, but we have a sound booth right back there. So at TPS Media, we also produce audiobooks for authors. So the
nice.
third owner, the third partner of our little business here,
He's been on our podcast twice.
yeah, Aaron Bunce. He's written a couple books, and he brought in this idea of, hey, I know a lot of authors that would like to do audiobooks. So anyway, we've started this venture.
So do you get
and-
hired as the reader often?
No,
No.
no.
We
Thought
both
that's what you were enjoying.
we're both kind of would say we were both like, hey, we're willing to be a voice if they want people.
Right.
But then it's like, I'm not
Everyone's
sure
like,
if I mean
no.
like
But the more people came in to audition, the more I wanted to like make sure I knew what it felt like to be in there.
Right, yeah.
So I went in there and I sucked. It was terrible. But I have to, along with Aaron, have to direct people with their reading of the book, and we're following along with the book, the script, to make sure they're reading it properly, so it has the correct
The
feeling,
inflection,
right?
yeah.
So I'm at my other job going through these scripts, and we're putting it through the software, and we're changing it around so that there's natural pauses. Like we want them to read this, so it's like a paragraph, and then
Right.
chop it up. And I find myself reading it aloud at work, and I'm really enjoying it, Todd. And I didn't want
I
to
don't
make
want
fun
you
of
to,
you.
don't turn this around to make
I
you
didn't
be
want
sorry.
to.
You're
I
gonna
didn't
be
bring
nice
this up
me.
to annoy you
I
today
don't.
or to pick on you.
Yes, you did.
I
You
wanted
absolutely
to say I feel what you're feeling.
No, you don't. You're being a horrible human being right now.
Actually, I don't
No,
feel what you're
that's-
feeling because my wife's like, shut the fuck up. Seriously. I do not want to hear about your podcast. I do not want to hear
But
about
listen,
this book.
it has not reading out loud to each other hasn't changed me, but my life has changed significantly because I watch so much less television. And so I sat down with my kids and watched football last Sunday. There's some preseason game on, right? A worthless game to watch. And I remember sitting there probably an hour in, and I'm like going, okay, like what I can be doing something else. Like what else could I be doing? Could I be reading? Could I be cleaning something? Could I be outside goofing off? What else could I be doing besides sitting here and doing nothing? And it's really, my whole summer was like that. So I've had almost 2 months, 2.5 months, where I probably watched 10 hours of television. Now I did once in a while would get on Netflix and watch a show or something like that I hadn't seen, like Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
So good, right?
I couldn't take any more after like the 4th season.
Oh, they're so good. I liked all of them. Anyways, I would catch up like that. If I went to bed at night and I was like I couldn't go to sleep, I'd go down and watch a couple of shows, things like that. Stranger Things on Netflix.
We blew through that.
Fuck, was that show good? And so I mean, there's things. I did definitely have screen time to catch up on shows that I liked, but to sit down during the day and literally waste my time watching television just didn't happen. And so one of the weird parts is I used to be so wrapped up in politics, what was happening, the things that were going on. And I started like, I don't know whether I thought that it was important enough for me to keep track of, but now it's had even less importance. So when you say things like earlier, when you said, if you don't like war, vote against things like that, I started realizing that I really literally have no idea what's going on in the world. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know it's Hillary and Trump, but I don't know anything else. I don't know what's going on in the campaigns. I don't know what's going back and forth. I haven't heard any dialogue at all. I haven't heard anything about representatives who are going to be rehired. Wow. I have no idea what's happening. It's so weird. So I'm thinking about getting HBO Go so I can like get like, what's his name? Bill Maher. I think
Sure.
like so the things that I could
Game of
enjoy
Thrones.
watching,
Game of Thrones.
like politics wise, I thought because I
It's
mean
like Keep Up the World. They're Game of Thrones.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Maher does have have
can be
Republicans on
entertained.
there. Bill Maher has Republicans on there. He has other voices, so I don't mind. I thought, well, that'd be fun to listen to. But like the idea of sitting down and watching TV or watching Channel 9 News or something to get informed, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I. But then I feel like I'm uninformed. I don't even know what's going on in Cedar Rapids.
I've never known. I've really never known what's going on in Cedar Rapids.
Hey, Grace Potter's coming to the Paramount Theater, and she's fucking phenomenal.
So good. Have you
Wow.
guys ever heard her cover? She covers
Grace Potter.
She covers Beyonce's "Why Don't You Love Me."
Okay, let's get a high five.
Oh my god, it's so good.
She is
I
like
feel like a serious loser.
She has got such a good voice. She is like the lead singer of Heart. I mean, she's that rock and roll, grindy. At the same time, she's got a beautiful voice when she went. But I haven't heard a lot of her solo stuff. I only knew her as Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, I think is the
That's
band, right?
how I
okay,
would know
me
her.
too. And so she's coming to Paramount, but I don't think I'm going to go. I don't know if I can go or not. But I even got off Facebook this summer as much as I possibly could because
I was gonna listen to a
look
little.
up Why
I was
Don't
gonna
You
pull
Love
up.
Me?
I was gonna pull up a little
Pull up
Grace
Why Don't You
Potter.
Love Me.
yeah,
So good.
or
Why You Love
Ooh
Me?
La La is
Wait,
great
why you?
too.
Why?
She covers the Beyonce song "Why Don't You Love Me."
Why don't you love me? All right.
Yeah, do
If
that.
that's the one takeaway from this whole podcast, that people just listen to that, I'll be really.
I like
We
it
have
that
some
Hannah and I are
serious-
friends. This is good.
She's not your friend.
Yes, she
Don't-
is. Wait
don't
till you
say
get to
that.
these statistics of your blood work. We're going to be such good friends.
Dash
The best
it.
part is there's nothing in high need. I like that.
I know. They
What
actually-
the fuck?
they-
I
no,
wanted some serious
right?
excuses.
It's cool. You got some food tragedies, and we'll get there.
Oh God.
Are you going to play Grace?
Yeah. Relax. Relax, you.
Billboard.com.
Oh,
That's not it. That's
annoying.
fucking
There's a
horrible.
little intro. Just skip ahead a little bit.
For the love of God.
That's a long intro too.
I'm annoyed.
Why don't you love me?
There you go.
Tell me, baby, why don't you love me when I make me so damn easy to love? Why don't you need me?
See?
All right.
And she's gorgeous.
Talk about stuff your spouses do. If I do anything mean, my husband instantly sings this song.
Oh,
Why don't you?
really?
Yeah, I'm just like,
Oh, wow.
just like dagger. No.
You want me to read to you?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Yeah, and she's awesome. I saw an interview with her and
I don't know how to feel about that. But
she talked about how she so loves music that she met Robert Plant, I think, like backstage somewhere. And Robert Plant's like, what, 65, 70?
Right, yeah.
And she was just like, I swear to God, I wanted to ask him if he wanted to go in a room somewhere together. Like, she was like, I felt like
She did?
I felt like a groupie.
oh, that's the girl who said that?
I felt like a groupie. I wanted to go back there and like have sex with this guy who is this rock and roll idol. She just loves music, loves being part of it. And that's a really great song of
She
hers.
does have a wonderful voice.
Well, it's really beautiful. When she sings some of her harder kind of rock songs, she gets really grindy and loud, and it's really, really awesome.
I'll have to check her out. Maybe she's got like a Amazon playlist.
I don't know what that
I,
is.
I listen to a lot of music on Amazon.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I've heard of it, but I don't know what
Yeah.
that is.
Well, that's what I do.
Like I said,
Anyway.
I read, so I don't know.
All right. Can we stop talking about insignificant shit that's going on around the world and get to something important like myself?
Please, let's do this.
Let's talk about me. All
I
right.
like that never happens ever at a time.
All right. So how are we going to go about this? What is the least? What's the most insignificant thing? Should we like build up?
Yeah, we should let's save your food test for last. 'Cause I think that's going to be like the most tragic.
Oh my god,
Dude.
We'll
That's
just
gonna
go
Now,
with
can
that.
I preface this by saying, Dr.
don't
Anderson,
don't
that
do it. Did you
I've
have
always-
to look
I've
at her
always-
name, dude? Did you have to look at her name?
her
to
name's
know?
not even up there. I'm talking.
Dr. Hannah.
I call her Dr. Anderson because her first name is Hannah. So you call her Dr. Anderson, not Dr. Hannah.
I'm cool with you.
What is she like?
We're
What,
good.
like is she talking to 12-year-olds?
No,
no. She's
but
not.
I like to
Okay.
do fun things with people's names.
Yeah, because you're partially retarded. Here we go. So, do you think that I lost my train of thought? Fuck.
That's
you
what I do.
asshole.
Boom. Bring it down. That's at least 2 points for Matt. All right. We're not going to talk about the food stuff just yet. You were going to say something about my food.
Okay, thank you. So, one thing I've always admired about Matt is that we've known each other for 25 years, if not more.
I don't
than
know if
that.
admired is the right word.
Is that he has always been very athletic, really, a really skilled athlete. No matter what he did, he was good at, kind of thing. And when I could like fluctuate in my weight, like I could eat really shitty for a while, gain some weight, and then shred it off again, and then I would like yo-yo kind of like that through my late 20s, early 30s, right? And then it kind of just settled in, right? And that's okay. I'm okay with that. He always had a really good build, got bigger when he was doing powerlifting, always had a six-pack. Even when he was carrying extra weight, he had a six-pack. And I kept going like, I wonder if he's going to be that one guy. Because you always hear about the people who like have really incredible, not metabolism, but like their genetics are just different from everybody else's.
right.
So they just carry things differently, right? And I thought, I wonder if he'll be one of those guys that no matter how old he gets, he's always going to look really good. And I still think he looks really good. But now he's becoming much more aware of the weight he's carrying and things like that. And I never thought that would happen ever.
Right. So,
So
like,
I'm really
finally.
no, I wasn't.
No.
I could always be like, I want to, like, the best part for me was like, I introduced him to CrossFit. And so I would do a CrossFit workout and I'd go to his house and I'd do the CrossFit workout again with him. And I'd be happy that I could at least, if not better him, be equal with him.
It was
Right?
his second time doing the same fucking workout. So for me to even barely be able to keep up with you,
Right.
that's still not saying much. That was your second workout.
But I always thought, I mean, I definitely have him on a pedestal when it comes to some of this athletic, nutritious kind of stuff. But he
Right.
also ate horribly all the
That's the
time.
thing. We sit down to do his consultation. I'm like, what do you eat during the day? And he's like 5 sodas and a couple candy bars. And I was just like, cool. This is going to be like, honestly, these results are amazing from what you told me that
Really?
day. I was like, there's no way.
Seriously?
When we lived together, he would take a gallon of ice cream and turn it upside down into a mixing bowl, the whole gallon. He would chop in 6 to 8 ding dongs. I'm not kidding. I'm not even
This was
kidding.
my pre-workout meal.
And he would
Carbo
squeeze
loaded, yeah.
hard shell over the whole thing and then stir it all together and sit and eat it out of that bowl.
Oh my
He and I would get 2 ambrosia pies from Bishop's before Bishop's went south in Cedar Rapids. We get
You
2
can still find those pies at Hy-Vee.
Ivy.
Yeah.
We get 2 ambrosia pies and a gallon of milk, and we would sit in 2 recliners and watch TV.
That was when we were single.
When a gallon of milk between us, we
I
would
was going to say you had to be. You
Yeah.
literally had to
He was
be.
he was my roommate for over a year.
Yeah.
And we had some of these really goofy glasses that were really tall with a straw. So we'd put it between our legs and the straw would come literally
so you couldn't, you'd have to move.
and we would just play video games and drink beer.
That sounds like the most single thing I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
We,
doing
but
it, yeah.
we'd sit there, we'd each eat an ambrosia pie and drink part of the gallon of milk and watch TV together. So, I mean, we were like the epitome
It
of
was special
like,
time. That was the special time.
but it didn't matter. That was the weird part, is it physically didn't matter at the time because we were so active. We did
Yeah.
so much stuff together all the time.
Yeah.
Tennis and rollerblading, because that was cool back then.
Oh my god.
Running. We would sneak into Kingston Stadium in Cedar Rapids. We'd run the stairs and then run
Right.
the track. I mean,
Yeah.
we did all kinds of stuff. But now I hit 45 this year, and
I hit 41.
he hit 41, and I definitely saw a change metabolically and physically when I hit like 38 to 40.
Right.
It didn't change anything, but I definitely recognized what was happening.
I bought bigger pants. But
I seriously got depressed, but I didn't change anything.
Yeah.
So, what were you going to say? Are you going to
So
wrap
I'm
this
just
up?
gonna wrap it up. So I was just gonna say that I always admired that he was always athletically really gifted, and I liked that about him. And I was always really surprised, and I always kind of put it to genetics that he could keep looking so good and eat so horribly. Because if I did that, I would be 300 pounds. It's just that simple. I mean, I know that like the end of before the summer happened, I got like it was getting really busy, and I remember I started going like to the gas station every day and get like 2 slices of Godfather's pizza, some ding dongs, and a Pepsi, right? And with
Dr. Hannah's pregnant. She's like, oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
and very quickly, I could feel the difference, and I could see the difference just like that, and I was able to stop and not do that anymore. But you get in those modes, and his job kind of keeps him from being active, first of all.
Right.
And eating healthy unless he's packing fucking everything
Right.
to
And
eat.
that was another part of the consultation. Like when he explained to me what he did all day and then when he was eating, I was like, okay, like how it's, and a part of it has to be genetics. You're right. And it'll be kind of interesting when we go through this, but yeah, part of it has to be. So just like send your mom and dad a thank you note.
Yeah. Well, genetics is going to be part of what I ask you about later on. So yeah, I mean, the genetic thing is like a double-edged sword, right? So some people will say, don't blame being fat on your genetics, right? You got to get out there and you got to be active and you got to, watch what you're eating and you don't have to be that way. Don't blame it on genetics. Well, I'm sitting here going, I've pretty much eaten like shit my whole life.
Right.
And I've not put that much effort. I put some effort in, but not more than the normal person.
Well, the thing is, too, you have like your build, like your physical appearance, but then who knows if you don't change anything, like in 10 years from now, you're going to have like a crazy autoimmune disease or like something internal that doesn't affect the outside. We're like, oh, now I wake up every day and I have to do this. I have to take this medication. Well, it's because stuff on the inside might be changing while your outside doesn't.
I totally feel like I'm sliding down to type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I always thought of too about like they talk about I may have like love handles or a tire on the middle, and he may not, but he may have more fat around his
Visceral.
organs internally than I do.
Because the way you store fat is different.
Right. And I was like, I always wondered if that played an effect, which of course I was like, oh, well, shit, I wonder if he's okay. Like I remember I had like going, well, if that's
he's just worried about you. That's what
He's
this
a
whole
very
thing
caring
is.
person. He is. He's the
he's
teddy
my-
bear, and I'm
he's my-
more.
Yeah, right,
You ever seen like The Odd Couple, the old TV show? I'm the jerk, and he's.
I'm always saying like
he's the nicer person.
I love him. He's a great guy. He's like, yeah, okay.
Fine.
That's
That's
it.
fine. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate
Thanks
that.
for the hug. Please get off me.
Don't fucking touch me.
All
Don't
right,
fucking touch
so
me.
let's take this in little chunks.
Sure.
What are we going to talk about first?
First thing we can
Well,
talk
you know
about.
what was the process? Explain to everybody. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Explain to everybody what is the process and why is it important? What did I do?
So Matt came to me and said I'd like to avoid a midlife health crisis. And so we did what I would call a wellness planning appointment, which I do pretty often. Some people would bring me their family tree and they're just like, this person has diabetes, this person had a stroke, this person has heart disease, this person has whatever. And they're like, can I not get any of that? How do I not do that? And so we typically go through a similar thing of what we went through with you. It's kind of the same thing with people who are even younger and or like if they're planning on starting a family or something like that. They're just trying to like get a baseline of where they're at, what's good, what's bad, things like that. So the process, you came in, we had a consultation, I kind of figured out your health history. And then I sent you for
What was the first blood test that we did?
We did
finger poked me.
We did a finger poke that does food sensitivities, which we'll kind of talk about a sensitivity versus an allergy, and because that's kind of a confusing
Because
concept.
I have sworn off. I got a little information and it scared the fuck out of me. And my 10-year-old son loves to fucking give me a hard time about it too. I told him, okay, so we did the finger poke.
Yeah.
It came back. I have a food sensitivity to eggs,
Dairy.
buckwheat, which I could give a fuck about.
Right, yeah, who cares?
Eggs.
Baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, which so like beer and
Beer.
bread. Yeah.
This is gonna be glorious.
But I told my son that, right? And
Yeah.
he goes, milk. Dad, you can't have milk? I'm like, yeah, I guess not. I guess I'm sensitive to milk. He goes, so you can't have cereal?
And ice cream.
I go, well, I don't really have that much cereal anyway, buddy. It's not really part of my thing, my routine. He goes, we're on our way to Dairy Queen. Dad,
You were like
can't-
reality check.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I've been eating ice cream for 41 years.
You son of a bitch, be quiet.
One more day is not going to kill me. He goes, but Dad, it's not good for you. So he knew I'm not going to die from this, but he was like, ice cream. Dad can't have ice cream.
Yeah.
Dad loves ice cream.
Doc,
It's on
he
a
was
power
just-
trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc, I'm going to interrupt you really
Yeah.
quick. So when somebody comes to you and says, can I avoid all these things? Is
Yeah.
there a possibility that they could avoid all those things? Could they really change their diet to a point where they could avoid genetically prepositioned kind of things like that? Is that possible?
So there's a huge concept in the medical world and just health world in general right now called epigenetics. Like there's literally like a research center for epigenetics and
What is epigenetics?
Right. So the word means basically you are blessed with a natural set of genes that you're born with, half from your mom, half from your dad. So for example, you may or may not have the gene for like pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
Your environment could then turn that gene on or keep it off. So you could have that
Excellent.
gene and say if you
Excellent.
went through your whole life and ate super healthy and like weren't, dealt with stress really, really well, just like had kind of set yourself up wellness wise, you might not turn on that gene ever. But if you have kind of a, shitty diet, you don't exercise, you like hate your life, your job is terrible, stuff
Right.
like that, right? Stuff that just ruined your body, you could turn that gene on. So yeah, that's kind of the basis of it. But that could be with any disease,
You know what?
anything.
The first time I
Really?
heard about genes acting like a light switch
Mm-hmm.
was with Mark Sison. He wrote the book, The Primal Diet, The Primal Blueprint. Have you read that?
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to ask, is that bullshit? But it's not. You're
No, I
talking
don't
about
think
it
it is at all,
as
yeah.
Depending on your diet, your lifestyle, how you treat your body, what's influencing your body.
Right.
You can turn on or turn off certain genes.
Right. Well, and think too, I mean, and it can go the other way too. You could have genes that are so strong that you, like they're going to be turned on no matter what. Like, it's like those people who eat like garbage and nothing ever happens to them, right?
She's gesturing towards me again.
Oh, I got
So
both
like
cameras.
like
That's good.
my father-in-law drank like 14 billion gallons of soda every day for a really long time. Like he's fine. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, how is this? Which I'm glad. Like I'm very glad that he's fine, but at the
Sure.
same time I'm just like, this
What the
is
fuck?
a miracle.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
modern day miracle. Like you wish that you could isolate that type of gene and put it in people.
Yeah, like,
and
what
make like a
resilient-
super person that's really resilient to a bunch of different shit.
You wish you could be a super person.
Well, I mean, that
Wait,
isn't that what we're trying to do? I mean, when we talk about cures for cancer, when we're talking about a cure for diabetes, nobody wants to change their diet. No, honestly, nobody wants
Oh
to
my
change their
God,
fucking
yeah,
diet.
you're not telling me
Nobody
anything
wants
new.
to. The American diet is horrible. We're all working one job, if not two jobs, to make ends meet. We're in this type of societal norm where we're just burning the candle at both ends, and the only way to make shit work is to either A, have your wife break both of her arms and have everybody else feed you, or B, which that has been really nice, by the way, or B, go to fast food restaurants, or C, really push making your own meals and having that a priority. And not a lot of people can make that a priority in their life because they're so fucking run down by just life.
But I do think that that's also because it is so societal that, like, I remember
Diet.
the other night, I was going to be late to a baseball game, and I had to make dinner.
Were you busy coloring or reading or what?
No, I came home from work, fucker, and I had things to do. I had normal life situations going on, and I thought, like, I'll just run to Papa Murphy's and grab 2 pizzas, or I'll just stop by here and do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the young men in my life goes, "Hey, I was thinking about making this," and I was like, "Is it taking quite a while?" He's like, "Oh no, it's super easy." I'm like, "Fuck, let's do it. Let's knock it out." And so we made jambalaya wraps. They're really good, and he had made them before.
That sounds gross.
So, in other words, I could have gotten in my car, drove to Papa Murphy's, got 2 pizzas, came back, cooked them, and we had eaten them, and it would have taken double the time that he took to slice up some or put
Little
some
guy?
Huh?
Little guy?
No, medium guy. To slice up some sausage, put it in this rice jambalaya mix. We made wraps out of
Right.
it. We were out the door. We had a better meal, first of all. Probably not the best meal in the world, but better than a fast food restaurant, and we made it to the game on time. So I think it's kind of one of those things. It's a perspective thing. We think we don't have the time to do the things we need to do when we really do. If we just stop and we say, what do we want for dinner? What would be an easy thing to do? Can I make a sandwich? I mean, some sliced meat and some cheese and some bread would not be that big. It would not be as bad as getting a Big Mac.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
But
I mean,
too, like in our clinic, because we do kind of tout ourselves as a wellness clinic, we'll
And
have
what is that clinic? for
Back in
everybody?
Line, Family Chiropractic and Wellness.
There you go.
We're really big on the wellness part and making it easy. So especially because I see a lot of kids and families and stuff. They're like, that's cool, but like so and so has dance from 7 to 8, and then we got to do this from 8 to 9, and then we got to go do whatever. And they're like, so whenever I have time for all this great food stuff you just told me, especially if they have a kid, they're like, then I'm the bad news bearer because I'm like, also your kid can't handle dairy, eggs, gluten, or soy. So like, go ahead and figure out what you're going to feed your kid. So luckily, I've gotten the stink eye enough that I literally hand them a grocery list, and I'm like, you're going to make this for dinner. But we'll even do like Saturday mornings. We'll do like a salad workshop where it's just like,
Wait.
just at our clinic.
You do a salad workshop at your
Yeah,
clinic.
so you can like make salad
Did
in
you
Mason
move, by the way?
in a month. We're so close.
In 1 month, you go to a new
Yes,
location.
September 19th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you can make salads in mason jars. Like it's really easy.
oh, he's a big.
I love
right?
that.
It
It's
goes for
super,
like 2 weeks, and
trendy.
then it banks, but that's okay. He
Right.
tries.
So we'll do that like on a Saturday morning, like twice a month. We buy all the stuff. We cook it, we cut it up, whatever. So people can show up and like it's $5 a salad. You can make your lunches for the week. Just give us $25 and then you leave. Like it's an assembly
I'm
line.
fucking there.
Right? So we started doing it and people are just like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And people have started losing they're like, I lost 10 pounds since you guys started doing that. And we're like, are you serious? And so for us to have an impact like that, we're like, that is worth our time to get the groceries, cut it up, like to affect that many more people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
People are like, holy crap. Like, of course I'm going to do that instead of, go to wherever for
Now,
lunch. And
your business, it's called Back in Line Chiropractic, right?
yeah.
And you can go to the website mybackinline.com, correct?
Yes, correct.
By the way, I've seen 2 of the trifecta. I've seen you
Yes.
and I've seen the dude. What's his name?
Dr. Nate Weber. So
Dr.
we
Nate
have a
Weber.
3-doctor clinic. We all kind of do different stuff, but we totally pass patients from one person to the next depending on who is the best fit. So we're really just focused on like who's going to be your best person for whatever concern you have. So if someone's like, I really want to know nutrition and I want to bring my kids in, they come to my office. If someone is, more athlete type with a ton of muscle pain or something like that, they're going to go see Dr. Nate. Like we all kind of have our own.
Dr. Nate was great. I went in there when I first made an appointment. I got there and they go, what were you wanting to be seen for again? So I said, I kind of want a fucking overhaul.
Yeah.
I need kind of everything looked at. I want to know where I'm at right now, baseline. But I do have some aches and pains, and I'm super inflexible. And
how is the gymnastic strength training gone?
terrible. It's gone terrible.
I asked my dad for a Christmas gift. That's what he's going to get me for my
It's gone terrible only because my level of devotion to it hasn't been there.
Oh, okay.
And plus, my wife broke both of her arms. So
Yeah. Let me ask you, where did you go to school?
I did my undergrad at Luther College in Decorah, and then I got my doctorate at Palmer in Davenport. And then
so
all the extra stuff, you have to take a bunch of seminars. When you go to chiropractic school, you basically get taught how to adjust people and how to diagnose and the important stuff. It's really important. But then anything ancillary, you have to kind of go find yourself. So.
And then how do you feel about, is there any part of your practice, and I mean this in all seriousness as I start laughing, is how do you feel about there's a very metaphysical part of some chiropractor?
Voodoo? Like what's the voodoo part?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's talking about aligning chakras and those kind of things.
okay,
Right.
Is there,
yeah, but
now
that's
listen,
what she's talking about.
yeah,
What's the
no,
voodoo?
I'll call
because
it.
I think voodoo.
You don't have to call it voodoo, but she knows what you're saying. What's
think
the voodoo?
calling it voodoo minimizes it, and I think there's
It
some
does.
legit parts to it.
But I
so
think
I don't want to give
when a
it any
patient
shit.
asks me something like that, and they're like, and they hint at like how you were like, I'm gonna dance around this until she gets what I'm saying. Everyone does that
'Cause I don't
And-
wanna be shitty
so,
about
right.
it.
So when you
Yeah.
pull it,
I
when
love
you're
being
like,
shitty about
when
it.
you're
What's
like,
the
would
voodoo?
you like to talk about voodoo? They're like, for sure. Like that's exactly what I meant. And the thing is that any doctor, medical doctor, whatever, there's stuff that happens in the human body that they can't explain. They haven't figured out. That's why science is like mind blowing because you can't figure it out. It's just not a thing. So yes, there is some part of it where you're like, no one's gonna know why it happened, but it totally worked. And also, there's a thing too that's like the power of just the power of like your mindfulness and total placebo effect.
Right.
Like there's a book.
Fucking placebo effect is amazing.
It is
is.
amazing. So
It's crazy.
but yeah, like I could tell you all of a sudden.
Can you remember what that book was called before we get off track?
Mind Over Medicine is a book.
Mind Over Medicine.
Is by a medical doctor who she literally studies placebo effect and how people.
My dad has read that book. He talks to me about it all
It's
the time.
amazing. Yeah. So basically, you can kind of think yourself out of a disease if you're told different stuff. But they go through, like, if I came in to an appointment and talked with you as a doctor, and I started every sentence with like Matt, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you have terrible sensitivities to this, and this, and it's gonna give you all these things. Or I could come in and be like, this is really great news. We have a lot of things to work on. You're gonna be way healthier after this. Like, those are two different patients leaving your office.
Well, and I'm familiar with a thing called linguistic programming.
Linguistic.
Yeah.
Linguistic.
Linguistic. NLP. So neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
like saying, so are you excited about the change that's going to happen in your life? What? You know? What are you talking about? Well, hey, when we get done doing this, you're going to be better off by this. And it makes you already start thinking ahead of doing things. And the only thing I could think of when it comes to that, and this is a negative, but you hear about people who are going along just fine. They go to the doctor, they find out they have a mass, and fucking 6
their
months
brain-
later,
yeah,
they
they're
are
done.
dead.
Well, and that could have been like, say they like switched the patient results. Those are the crazy ones. Or like they actually accidentally got told the wrong results. And
they still
and
died?
They still died. Yes.
Oh, that's fucked up. Oh,
that's
see,
a real thing that's
crazy.
happened. Yeah, I know. So anyway,
Wow.
I
some
feel
of
like
the,
when the baby is out, we're going to like, hey, what are you doing? Let's go have some beers because I want to talk about some crazy shit.
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. So yeah, I think there's a part of like whatever, the kind of voodoo stuff or whatever. But the thing is like all the like the energy work and like acupuncture and all that stuff has been around so much longer and like has helped so many more people
Right.
than what we know of as like medicine that it's
Western-
really
the
hard.
Western medicine, yeah.
Yeah, something that's worked for thousands of years. Like if like an old ancient like Chinese healer came up to me and he was like, I can totally solve like all your morning sickness, whatever, with like this one touch, I'd be like, let's do this. Cause I've like, you see enough weird stuff that you're like,
Right.
sure, anything's possible. Am I going to bank my whole life on it? Absolutely not. But will I probably try anything? Yeah. Like let's do it.
Yeah, one of my good friends, his wife is a chiropractor, and she went to Palmer. And I remember the worst part is whenever she's like, "How you feeling?" If I see her like casually as friends, we'll be chatting, and she's like, "How you feeling about things, about your body and stuff like that?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing okay." She's like, "You want an adjustment?" I'm like, "Sure," and she'll adjust me. I hate the
fucking love
the neck thing. I feel like she's gonna pop my head off my shoulders,
Dude.
and I know she can't.
You and I
but
are
I'm just
so
saying that.
completely different. I love it. If I don't
I
hear
don't
a
mind-
huge pop, if I don't feel that, I'm like,
Be like,
I don't
what
mind
Waste
the
of
big,
money.
Yeah, right.
I don't mind the big body kind
Yeah.
of sounds.
Yeah.
It's just staying like this, going, "Oh, this is kind of nice, thanks." And then I feel like she's gonna break my neck.
It's just so much louder. Well, so since I see a lot of kids, you have to like figure out how to explain that stuff to a small child. And the whole point that's louder is just it's literally closer to your ears. That's why it's so scary. So with little kids, I'm like, this is gonna be louder because it's closer to your ears, and they're like, yeah, okay, and then they're fine with it. Like
Really?
they just want to know why it's so different from like back to neck, and then they're cool with it. So
Okay.
just tell yourself like it's just gonna be louder. Yeah.
No, I know that it's gonna be fine. I know it's gonna be fine. It still just grosses me out.
I haven't seen a chiropractor in a while. I usually go to River Valley Chiropractic. They were the first chiropractor service that I went to that I wasn't angry at.
Fair. People think it's like if you try one, then you're out.
Right.
I would more so go for like it's kind of like a
I like
shoe fit deal. Like if it's a good
Yeah.
fit, that's fine. Like
And Kent's pretty great. They
Kent
do a lot of nutrition stuff with like Hy-Vee in the area. They
Yeah.
do a lot of like proactive stuff that I really like too.
But the big thing for me, I used to see, I won't even say the name of the chiropractor, but I had gotten to a point where I had a rib that was dislocated. So it would I couldn't twist. I couldn't twist
Right.
at all. And I said that to the guy. I go, could you take it easy on me? Because I honestly, I cannot twist. My muscles are just seizing up. It's seizing up so hard. I don't know if you could crack it and it stay out or stay where it's supposed to be. I think the muscles just yank it right back out. And what's the first thing that fucking guy did? He twists me, and I couldn't breathe. Like, I almost passed out. I was holding my breath for so long. And I stopped seeing him. But then I went to River Valley, and the very first thing they do is you get a massage.
Wow.
And you relax. And, hey, what's bothering you today? Well, my back is bothering me today. Or what area? So you really get nice.
My penis is bothering me.
What?
My penis is bothering me. It's a massage.
How dare you? She's a professional.
That's a really long travel back to the initial conversation. Yeah.
But you got it.
I've always wanted to ask her, but I respect her so much, and she's such a good friend. That she was a neighbor of mine, you know, that I trusted her. Like, I don't want to ask her. Plus, it's kind of creepy when I'm getting the massage. Hey, how many people ask you for it?
How many weirdos come in here? Yeah.
So I don't want to ask her. It's never like a good opportune time to ever ask a woman.
Sorry,
Hey, how many people ask you
There's
for?
not. I will tell you right now.
There's
not
never a good
time.
opportune
Yeah.
time. There's really never a good opportune time for a dude either. Like if you were to ever ask me, hey, does anybody ever ask you to finish them off? Just to let you know, never a good time. Never a good time for me.
Off track. Go ahead.
But that was the first chiropractic service that I went to, and I'm a very tight person anyway. I sit a lot. I've never been very flexible. My hips are very tight. My hamstrings are very tight. Everything's very tight, and which is what I believe is a huge part of my problem. I think if everybody, and this is my own weird belief, and if you disagree, please say it. But my thing is, if people ate right and did yoga regularly and were flexible,
Well, you'd have like half as much disease, maybe less.
like hospitals would be going out of business.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the normal aches and pains from just regular tight muscles. You probably wouldn't have to see a chiropractor as often
As much, yeah,
right? Because you're just
absolutely.
nice and loose and you're moving. You're not so
Right.
fucking tight. And part of that tightness, I feel, gets people out of position.
Well, and that's kind of like the sad part. We talk about it a lot in our clinic, but it's like our practice is so messed up because we're trying to teach people how not to come back.
Right.
Which is the backwards of
It's a
every
bad
business
business
model.
plan,
it's
right?
terrible, but people don't listen, and people like to eat gallons of ice cream with ding dongs blended in. So then
I feel like she directed that. I feel like it's directed towards this end of the
But
table.
the thing is, though, it's part of me says that you have a well to dip into. Even if you have half the people that you convince to change their lives and do things correctly, you still have a majority of the population who are still doing things incorrectly, who are still overstressed,
Oh, yeah.
who are still doing those things that you're always going to have that well to dip into.
Well, and we're
all the
kind of
time.
out of the norm in Iowa because is like a bigger chiropractic state, but only like less than 10% of the entire country sees a chiropractor. So then you're like, holy crap, we have such an untapped market.
Well, a lot of times insurance companies won't cover it.
Oh yeah, I don't even take insurance on mine.
And here's a
I mean,
weird
the other doctors do. I do
Right.
not because I just,
and here's
I
a weird
can't
thing, and
handle it.
I'm not trying to kick anybody in the jimmy when I say this. I don't mean to say it disrespectfully. I don't understand it. But from a layperson, an idiot. How about I say that? From an idiot.
I like lay better
From
than
a
idiot,
layperson?
because I'm a layperson
Okay.
too, and I don't want to be an idiot.
So what I've never understood is I could go into a chiropractic office and they'll say, so do you have insurance? Yes, I do. That'll be $60. Okay. No problem. I have no problem paying that. I have insurance. There you go. Do you have insurance? No, I don't. That's $25. What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Wait. Well, hold on a second. Why is it cheaper if I don't have insurance?
So if you
If
you
Dr.
have
Hannah's
to,
going to drop it like it's hot.
No, I
Dr.
think
Anderson.
it's
Go
super
ahead.
messed up. It's super messed up. That's why I don't accept insurance. That's why we have other doctors that do, because so if you are in a, like, say if I were to be in a contract with insurance, they then get to tell me how much I get to charge my patients. I can't go lower. I can't go higher.
The insurance companies tell
Insurance
you.
company gets to tell you what
you
you get to charge.
That's kind of messed up.
Super messed up. They might tell you everyone's insurance is different. So some people consider chiropractic a specialty. Some people consider you just a physician. So you might get, some people we have only get 10 visits a year. Some people,
That's me.
some people might get unlimited visits, but they have to pay like $50 a visit or so. Like it's so everyone's is so bogus and so.
But if
different.
you have Aflac, and you say, "I picked up a board. There was an accident in my home. I need to see the chiropractor." Aflac, you actually make money. You actually.
There you go.
They give you a
loophole,
check,
and there's
but
a million loopholes.
There's a million loopholes. That's just one, but it's a deceptively horrible. You turn into what you don't want to become. You don't. I mean, people really. You should never ever aspire to be like, got one over on the man.
Right.
Woo!
Well, and that's like I
You know what I
so I
mean?
see so many
Right.
kids. Insurance doesn't want to. Kids don't come in with like neck pain, back pain. They do sometimes, but I'm seeing like babies who are they might be constipated or they might projectile
Chronic.
vomiting
Or
babies.
it's not chronic. What is it called?
Yeah, if it's a long time. Yeah.
What's the babies that cry all the
Colic.
time?
Colic.
Yes. Yeah. So
Colic.
I might see kids for that or like for, or just like wellness because they just like, they're like, yeah, my kid just gets sick less when I get him adjusted. That's fine. An insurance company's not going to pay me for that. So I have no contract with them because they will tell me that's really nice, but you're not going to get paid for that. So I'd rather,
Just skip that BS.
yeah. Well, and to get around it, I would have to be like, Susie came in and said she fell off.
You'd have to lie a little.
I would have to lie on notes, which is illegal. And when you're married to a lawyer, you just don't do it. So
Hey,
but I
would
have
he ever
this
like to
great
come
conscience.
on and talk about legal stuff?
Oh God, he would need that face block. He would like.
He would.
Yeah, we would
Oh,
totally
we can do the
it.
face block. He can
We'd
have,
totally
he can have
do
my
it.
face block. I'll give him my face block. That's awesome.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I love that.
Okay, so let's get back to me.
Yes.
We haven't even gone over these things yet. We talked about poking my finger.
Yes.
We did that in the office.
We did that in the
right
office.
away.
2 weeks later, I got back a panel. So basically, what we tested, we will do this first, just because
Okay.
we're already there.
All right.
So
Knock it all out.
we tested your food sensitivities, which is different. People have like a food allergy. So like I grew up with a peanut allergy. That's an immediate like that reaction is happening now as soon as you eat the food. Food sensitivity can happen like 3 to 73 hours after you eat it, or it can kind of build up over time. So
Okay.
like you might eat something on Monday, you eat ice cream on Monday, you get a headache on Wednesday. Well, it could still be from that ice cream if it's a sensitivity
Get the
to dairy.
fuck
Get the
outta
hell
here.
out of
Yeah.
here.
So the reason why
I
it's
don't like
different,
this information at all.
We're gonna have nothing but salads and water
Right.
from now on.
Just
well,
yeah,
who knows? Maybe I'm
iceberg
allergic
lettuce.
to lettuce.
So the reasoning is when your body has an allergy or sensitivity, it's sending out armies, like antibody armies, to go fight stuff. It's like an intruder is here, I got to fight something. So the army that goes out for allergies is a little smaller, but it's way faster. So you're gonna have reactions really fast. The army that goes out for sensitivity, way bigger army, way slower.
Okay.
So it might take days, but people get kind of global things like they'll get headaches, or they'll be super bloated, or they don't sleep well, or there's kind of brain fog, like rashes, like they're like, these bumps showed up and they just haven't gone away, or something like that.
But it's
So-
super hard. If that's the case, it's really hard to self-diagnose
so hard.
because you're like, what the fuck did I just do? I haven't done anything different in 3 days.
Yeah, well-
oh, I had Skippy peanut butter today. I bet it's from the Skippy peanut butter.
But I mean, I think that's where it goes back to the idea of I don't know,
Allegedly.
a ketosis diet or a holistic diet. That if you're eating very simple,
What's the difference? What are you talking about?
If you're eating fruits and vegetables and lean, healthy proteins,
Okay,
and you're
that's
not
a
eating
ketosis. That's a
Ketosis?
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking
both
about ketosis?
holistic and ketosis are kind of the same thing. As we're like you're eating the basics,
Just like
you're
clean
not
stuff, yeah.
clean stuff. There you
Not
go. You're not
processed,
eating
yeah.
anything processed at all.
non-processed.
Vegetables, fruit, lean meats that are healthy for you, that have good omega-3s and stuff like that. If you eat like that,
Yeah.
you're going to be okay. It's when you start putting in everything else. But you're saying that in my mind, so I'm thinking I have 2 chickens at home, right? I'm just
Right.
waiting for their
You got
first
eggs
eggs.
galore.
I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
excited.
What?
I haven't waited yet. They
You got
haven't
a chicken coop?
2 chickens.
Fuck,
I'm so excited.
Dude, I don't
Anyways.
even know you anymore. I don't
So,
even
but
know
at the
you.
same time, so here I am. I'm feeding them organic feed. They walk around the yard and eat bugs. They're totally organic, for lack of a better word.
Right.
But if I have a egg allergy, it doesn't matter how great my eggs are.
Well,
I
and
might
here's the
have
thing too.
a-
Think of how much other stuff eggs is in. It's in bread. It's in every baked good. It's in soups, dressings. It's in whatever.
It's in ding dong.
So some of
whitening.
the-
Mayo.
So some of the reasons people are getting, like, there's a good chance you might have some of these sensitivities just because think about what you eat every day. It's the same, probably like the same 5 ingredients you get in like
For sure.
everything you eat. Well, then you're not giving your body a break. The human species was evolved to eat like 200 plant species and animal species. We only eat, this tests 96 foods. Like most people don't even eat all of these. So if we're eating 60 foods or less and our body's built for diversity of like 200 species, then we're that's when we start messing stuff up. So
Holy shit! I never thought about that ever.
Yeah, so I see little kids who are like, they only eat mac and cheese and pizza. Like, what else do little kids eat, right? That like
My son eats nothing but toast.
right, toast.
Like, come on, bud. Can you please have something nutritious like
cereal.
pizza? No.
Right. So then they're like, why does my kid have a gluten sensitivity? I'm like, what did they eat today? And it's literally going to be
All
like
gluten.
Nothing but gluten.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm like,
So
well,
you might not have a gluten sensitivity.
May have
You're
like
just eating too much of gluten.
right. So what we do is we have like, for example, what I suggested to Matt was to go on this 90-day, give yourself a break for 90 days, let your intestines heal, let them calm down. You
I
might
haven't done that yet.
right. So when and
Needless to
if
say,
right?
it hasn't happened.
so when and if you do that 90 days should be enough time to allow your insides to heal. You could probably
You're
have it
right
again.
here.
Yeah.
You're right here. How would I give myself a 90? How do I know how to give myself 90 days of calmness?
So kind of
I've
not eating this.
the eggs. All right, well, let's go over this because I really have done. I don't even know what to eat. Honestly, I don't know what to eat anymore for breakfast because I thought, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna do better than just drinking coffee. Normally, I just drink coffee, a couple of cups, lots of creamer. Like the people at my work know, just a dash of coffee and a lot of creamer.
Yeah, it's a milkshake by the time you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
instead of doing that, I would make an omelet, and I would think I'm doing a great job, but I have an egg sensitivity, right?
Yeah.
So diagnose me right now. How would I reset myself? How would I take it easy on myself for
This
90
is
days?
this becomes power of the internet when you do dairy-free, egg-free breakfast in Google or Pinterest.
Okay, but that would be the easiest way to go about it.
Oh, that's
right?
yeah. So the sheets that I make to hand out to people is literally because I've actually taken the time, right? Age of convenience, like people are on schedules, they don't
Sure.
have time to go through
Sure.
the internet and like find all of these. So so yeah, once you and kind of the nice part, you get this printout of all these foods. Well, then just like look at the other foods that aren't high. You could eat any of those. So when you're thinking more about breakfast, like okay. Oats are still on here. All the meats are still on here. You can have any breakfast meat, fruit, vegetable.
Is there really
whatever.
a breakfast meat? Isn't meat just meat?
Bacon and sausage, that's a breakfast meat.
I mean,
Right.
I love meat. Can I have a T-bone? T-bone's a meat.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Steak, yeah, heck yeah. And
Are you a big fan of like organic butter, organic dairy? I mean, I guess people can have sensitivities to those things, but
Right.
like Derek, like Dr. Marks, who was on our program, last program that we had out, he talked about how he has a really high fat diet. He just makes sure that the fat he has
It's good
is
fat.
really good fat.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just less. People get really worked up, but the whole thing is it's just less for your body to fight. So if your body only has so much nutrition, so many defenses, if it's going to waste those defenses on fighting all these toxins on your food, non-organic food, it can't use all those other things to like, make you
Keep
think,
you healthy.
make you think clearly, like make your organs work. Like those cells have other jobs.
Protect yourself from
Right,
sickness.
right.
So in other
it's
words, the things that you eat can lessen
the
your
burden.
body's reaction and the burden that you put on it.
Yeah.
So it's not
That's
just
a-
being healthy
That's a
and
great
eating
way.
healthy. It's just saying that your body is no longer on full alert all the time for all the shit you're
Right.
taking
Well,
in
that's
your
kind
Or,
of what-
or it can be on full alert for the shit that needs to be on full alert for.
like a
Yes.
disease or something.
Right, yeah.
Sickness
So if
and
you get the
disease.
flu or whatever, then your body's like, cool, I don't have to deal with toxins. I'm going to go fight the flu. And then it might fix it before you even
Well,
see
it makes
your
me
symptoms.
thought. So you get the flu, and what do? You sip on water and 7-Up. You eat saltines, and you
Yeah.
have soup. You
Right.
you take your diet. Your diet changes to kind of give
Is
your
that
body a break.
That's
almost.
but that's what we think is the healthy thing. Is that a healthy thing to do when you're sick?
Kind of depends. I mean,
You're a
parts of it
doctor,
are.
but you're not that doctor.
Fruits, I mean, I imagine fruits and vegetables and lean meats would probably be the same way to heal better.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you lower your caloric intake kind of of more
You
simple
rest,
foods.
like you rest so that your body
rest.
can spend time doing inward
needs.
heat.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
when I'm sick, I always say I'm the biggest bitch in the world. I just like I put a sweatpants on and a hoodie, and I
Right.
curl up in the fetal position. I'm like, just don't talk to me. I'm just going to sleep, and I'm going to get past this
healing.
thing. I'm
Yeah.
healing. Thank you very much.
That's kind of the
Right.
people that don't get sick very often. When they do get sick,
It's intense.
Oh.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it. I usually get sick once or twice every 2 years, and when I get sick, it is
You're
the
down,
fucking
yeah.
worst.
I don't
hate
even
it.
want to get into shots. All right, let's continue on with the nutrition.
Yeah,
thing.
so it's kind of
what
this-
am I screwed up on?
Yeah,
what,
kind
what
of
are
the
my
same
big
concept.
things?
We just don't. We're trying to make it so your immune system doesn't freak out every time you eat.
Okay.
So since we're measuring antibodies, we're measuring that army, right? That like big slow army.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it so it doesn't have to come out as much if by letting you eliminate these foods for a while just
Okay.
to give yourself a break. So what showed up on your test was dairy, eggs, both the white and the yolk. So no, just
Shit.
going intense on one or the other. The buckwheat, which doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Crab came up. So if you're just like
Oh, shit.
crab meat rangoons all day.
You know what? I do eat Krabby Rangoons, and my son. I'm the only one in my family that my all my kids are adopted,
Mm-hmm.
right? And my one son loves to experiment with food. He loves to try anything and everything. I'm the only one that will take him to like Red Lobster or somewhere
get
to have
something weird,
seafood.
yeah.
Okay, so crab meat.
Yeah.
Don't eat it.
Just
right?
not for 90 days. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
This isn't a forever. This isn't like
This
is
So
the
what you're
rest of
saying
your
is that
life.
if he rests his intestines and gets past some of this,
There's a
he
very
might
good
be able to
chance.
start introducing some of these things again and seeing
Yeah.
how he kind of reacts to it.
right, or like
right?
you could have your coffee creamer maybe like once, twice a week, and your body be fine. But it's 7 days a week that might make your body real
Oh,
mad.
and it's multiple times a day, lady.
do 90 days without any coffee or creamer and
Okay,
fucking see.
what else?
Right.
What
Suck it
else
up.
do I have?
Suck it up and let's get this
90
taken
days.
care
What
of.
else do I have
You
to
also
like?
had mushroom and radish, which
Right.
those may or may not be.
Oh,
Some
that's a
people
big
are
deal
like,
for me.
whatever.
I usually have mushrooms with my steaks.
And then the bakers
you
and
got it.
brewers yeast, which that'll probably you might
My
have to
what?
start drinking vodka soda instead of.
I've thought about changing over and maybe getting a sponsor for vodka for the show.
It's a good idea. I
What
like
do you
that
think?
There you
idea.
go.
I drink vodka. I mean, I like beer. I like beer a lot, but I would drink vodka. Well,
What about Zima?
I have a good friend.
What about Zima?
Zima doesn't exist anymore, but I did love it when it came out. She's way too young to know what Zima is.
No, she's laughing. She knows what Zima is.
No, you don't.
Zima with maybe
Do you know what Zima is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just like an old version
white
of
beer.
Yeah.
Right? It's
a
clear
malt,
beer.
Clear.
It's the first
Clear
malt
beer.
liquor that came out that was like a more drinkable malt liquor. Mike's Hard Lemonade is a malt liquor like Zima. They're all kind of that
Yeah.
malt liquor based
Yeah.
kind of
Do you
thing.
put a
Just give
Jolly
you a
Rancher
sugar-
in any of that
a
other
sugar-
shit?
sugar
No. You
hangover.
put a Jolly Rancher in your Zima.
Only a pussy like you puts a Jolly Rancher in anything.
You know what? You flavor it with what you flavor it with. That's just you drink it like you're supposed to drink it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so what else?
So-
what else do I need to?
Before we
No, you're good. That's
before
all
we
the
do this,
things.
we're going
Okay,
to talk about
okay.
alcohol.
Yes.
So I have a friend who is a chiropractor, and she said that when I was trying to eat clean for a while, didn't last.
My 90 days starts tomorrow.
She
Crack,
said that
yeah.
she talked about how if I'm gonna drink any alcohol, to drink like potato based vodka, like something
Yeah.
that's much more. Is it because that vodka? And I didn't ask her this. Is it because vodka is a simpler processed alcohol, or it's clear for some?
Potato is fairly like low sensitivity, low allergen. Like I've done hundreds of these. I've literally never seen someone come back with potato sensitivity.
Oh, really?
So it's just kind of like it just doesn't have the proteins that tend to irritate people.
Okay, but I really
So-
like the taste of beer. It's hard.
It's
I could
the
take it or
hardest.
leave it. Really, I'm more
Oh,
about the
no.
buzz.
No.
I'm more about the buzz.
I like the taste. Like we're drinking Green Line from Goose Island, right? Great
no,
beer.
you are. I haven't yet.
Okay, then I'll drink it. So that's a really good beer. It's great tasting beer.
Who got it? That's
I
what
don't
I'm
like
drinking.
Hoegaarden, but
Who got it?
do you? I mean, when I see gluten-free beers and things like that, I just chuckle. Like, who's gonna fucking drink that? You know, like it's
gonna
dumb.
be him on a 90-day limit.
Yes. Oh God, I like her so
Yeah.
much.
I'm
You're
just
gonna
kidding.
get so
you
much
didn't, You
shit.
didn't have gluten. You had brewer's yeast, so there's probably still yeast in it. So you should just go to hard alcohol. Yeah.
I have yet to see a doctor and have them say,
But you don't- you don't-
should probably go with hard alcohol.
don't-
I think that would probably serve you better.
You don't-
Hard al-
you don't ever drink hard alcohol.
What about wine? Wine, is that all right? Wine, hard alcohol.
I mean, you don't have a grape sensitivity, so yeah.
Okay.
There's
have
no
you
yeast.
ever,
there's
I'm not
no
really
yeast
into
in-
wines
have
either,
you
but I'm just
ever
trying to.
drank wine ever for
No.
on purpose?
No, and my wife doesn't like wine. I feel like I'm a bitch if I drink wine.
See,
For
and my
some
lady
reason.
loves
I feel less
wine.
of a man if I
I
drink
get
wine.
headaches. The minute I have a glass of wine, I get terrible headaches, so
Really?
I don't drink it. But the hard liquor thing,
So what are you saying?
be all over
Should I
that.
have like rum and Coke? No, I can't
no,
have Coke.
no,
right?
yeah, Coke is horrible. No, what you should do is get like, can you get like sparkling water?
Well, your
Does that work?
Scotch.
Yeah.
The Scotch.
Sparkling water that has like lemon or berry
Right,
flavored,
yeah.
and put some vodka in that, so it's not very sweet. It's not going to be enjoyable in that
Can I
sense.
put a Jolly Rancher in it?
No, it's
Yes.
sugar and shit. Dr. Anderson, don't do that.
She said yes.
If
No.
we're going by this
Hey,
panel,
can I make myself a green juice and then spike it?
you could. I don't. That sounds terrible, but
Me
you could do it.
too.
Well,
Oh,
green
it sounds-
juice.
I mean, unless you were just like orange juice, you just went.
A lot of people can't even drink what you're drinking. I can. I have a
Yeah.
juicer. I have a green juicer.
I have a juicer
I
too.
don't put that much effort in, so I go buy.
But I would never. I would want to. I would much rather have that to drink, and then maybe have like a gin and tonic or something. I would not want to try to mix alcohol.
have you tried some of the green juices that they have at like Target?
Like
bottled?
pre-made.
Yeah, the pre-made stuff.
I like what are the local.
Because your
Yeah.
thought process is it's not pasteurized. It's
They
not
just
crazy.
They
it's
just
not,
made it. It's like
It's
it
fresh.
tastes better.
It's not pasteurized. That's the key.
All
you
right.
don't want that stuff dead. You want it live.
Yeah.
You know.
that is. I mean, really, that's the bacteria. You want it living.
It's
you want
legit.
living shit.
Yes. That's why you. That's
You
why,
want living stuff in your gut.
That's why when I if I ever make a smoothie or I drink yogurt, I have that. Is it Curry? It's like a yogurt that has like all. It's promoting like the live bacteria in your gut, so to speak.
okay.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
can we transition into gut bacteria? Did any of my blood test stuff talk about gut bacteria?
Yeah, kind of both of them do in a sense. The food, in a way, a lot of the time that we talk about this like 90-day break where your gut's healing, that goes faster if you add a probiotic or something like that. That's going to help, because what has happened is so much inflammation. Your GI tract has gotten so, in commercials when they show like hot red burning areas, like I kind of think of that, like
I just look at my gut and
Yeah.
I'm like, my pants are tighter. I
right.
am
So
inflamed.
inflammation just means like
gassy.
there's fluid there, things are irritated. So if that happens enough in your gut, you can get. You guys have probably heard of like leaky gut as a thing, right? So long term,
gross.
long term food sensitivities untreated can cause leaky gut. So basically, the tube that was your GI tract now has holes in it, and things are just going wherever they want.
Waste.
So
Waste.
yeah,
Waste.
so like stuff is going into your bloodstream that you're just like, that's not supposed to go there. That's why your immune system gets really mad.
Wow.
Yeah,
That sounds
Did you not-
horrible.
did you not know what leaky gut was? You
I
look
don't
really surprised right now.
I think of leaky gut as like you have like loose stools or diarrhea. That's what I
That's
think
a
of.
symptom. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
leaky gut.
But you're
Okay.
actually being infected.
But I don't realize that you're being. It's almost like you when you have your appendix burst inside of
Yeah.
you. Leaky gut
Right.
sounds that similar
Tiny
to that.
little
It's like
pinholes.
Right.
yeah, it's like it's
Yeah,
leaking
just-
the worst into
Right,
your body.
on a smaller scale, because really those walls are super tightly regulated. Like if you had just had, think of it as, again, used to explaining this to kids. There's like guards, right? So there's guards.
Yeah,
to-
treat me like a child.
Right,
Go for
to
it.
let stuff go in and out. Someone has to be like, yes, it's okay that you go, or like, no, you need to be digested more until you go. So when those guards are like done because there's been so much inflammation there.
We're on strike.
The crowd's
Yeah.
coming through. Let's
Right,
go.
yeah.
I can't do this
Anybody
anymore.
can go.
Yes.
So yeah, the probiotics help to heal that hot mess scenario that's happening.
Because what he wants though, what he really wants
When you
from
say
you,
he, what are you talking about?
You.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
the
what
ball,
does
the ball
his
guy.
gut look
What he
like?
really wants, no, nobody wants to know that. What he really wants for you to do is he wants you to say, and I'm in the same boat, is this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to do A, B, and C,
Right.
and stick to this, or D is going to happen.
Right, exactly.
That's what we need. I've told him plenty of times and said it many times in this podcast that somebody's going to say, hey, listen, you're going to have cancer or you're going to have this. And then I go, oh, Jesus. And then I go, okay, I'll change my life because I've had somebody says this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? It's not until we get a scenario that somebody says shit
Like
is
bad
hitting the
cop.
fan.
Yeah, right.
And then you make changes.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if we just did the food intolerance, I'd be like, yeah, do probiotics like for
And
good
in general, like a
health.
very generic suggestion, what is a good probiotic? Because people talk about,
Yeah.
well, I'll just get Greek yogurt,
right,
right?
right.
But
I'm biased because I have access to like all the good pharmaceutical grade stuff.
And I do want to talk a little bit about, I want you to definitely talk about the fact that you guys, with your dietary supplements, your nutritional supplements that if people buy that, you also do what?
From a certain brand, we donate to make sure preventative medicine can be accessed by kids who can't afford it.
That's what I'm talking about.
So like
Dr. Hannah Anderson.
yoga, nutrition, stuff like that. Like kids who just don't have access to it can have it, because then how are they supposed to be a healthy, not pile of crap when they're grown up if they were never taught
Hashtag
that?
Humanity celebrity.
Anyways,
all right,
So they give a lot back for the things that they offer. when it
Yeah,
comes to probiotics.
that's actually one of the things that was really pretty neat about what you do, or what your clinic does.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I heard you talk about it with Jackie Fetter on Jackie Live,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't happen very often where you see it. I mean, it does happen, but you don't see it very often. There's tons of companies out there that want to take care of people, and everybody's like, okay, how do I pay my bills, and is my business plan the way it needs to be? Am I making money? And then how do I help people
Right, yeah.
also while I make money?
Yeah.
So the idea that your
Yeah.
clinic does that for children, I think, is amazing, and I think it's awesome. And we'll bring it up again at the end of the podcast. Okay, so
I like that
people
as
know where
part
to
of
go.
your business plan. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's worked into how you do
We
things.
worked really hard on that. We kind of call it like this, not having this scarcity mindset of like, oh my God, someone's going to come take all our patients. They're going to come take all our glory. And like, we aren't going to look as cool. Instead, we would just like, let's just spread that out. Let's just make sure, like, if that person helps you, great. You go get help with that person. Like, let's just spread the good stuff as far as we can and not worry about someone like stealing all of our stuff. Like,
Good.
people get into this, whatever. There's like 10 chiropractors down the street. Who cares? Like, it's fine. And still, like 10% of
Well,
the population seen a chiropractor. Like, there are 90% of people all of us could go get.
And I also think that, I know like Chris Smith is a really good chiropractor here in town on the southwest or southeast, northeast side of town, Cedar Rapids. And again, he's one of those guys, the same thing. He's like, go to whoever can help you guys
Right,
out.
yeah.
You don't have to come to me.
Right.
He's part of our CrossFit gym, and so he's always seeing people from the gym kind of thing. But he's always like, if you find somebody who does it for you, that's wonderful.
Well,
go
how
for
terrible if I was like, I'm going to keep you as a patient even if you're not getting better because I just want to have that income.
Right.
Like, what, like, dick move
And
are you
I would
pulling?
think that most people are smart enough. This is something that really bothered me about seeing. There was a really old dude. The very first chiropractor I saw was in Hiawatha, less than a block away from your office.
Dude, I saw the same one
Really
via,
old?
via your ex-wife.
Via my ex-wife,
Yes.
one of your best friends.
Yes.
God, she's a nice person. Anyway,
She likes our show.
really is.
She likes
She
our
actually
show. She does. She likes it.
but he was the first chiropractor I went and saw. But he adjusted me, and he made me feel better. But he never, ever said, so this is what you need to do. This is why this is happening. And this is what you need to do to strengthen this part of your body so that it doesn't keep going that way. So your hips don't just keep going that
Yeah,
way.
teach you how not to need him. That's that part of I got it.
And I don't know. I think everybody's at least as smart as I am because I'm 2 steps away from being clinically retarded. So I think everybody can see when they go to see a doctor, okay, I've been helped. And I keep getting helped the same way all the time. What can I do to prevent this? And if you're seeing a doctor who's not telling you those things, you know what? Do these exercises. You're going to feel better. Do this. Might not have to see me very often. That's who I want to go see. That's who I want to be around, Somebody who's working actively to not make me a patient.
And I'm not going to blow too much smoke.
You're good.
Is that it sounds like that's your approach and that's your clinic's approach.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're going even further and they're trying to branch out and push that wellness outside of their clinic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, which makes me, not knowing you at all, besides liking the entertainment we're having, to want to be part of whatever you guys are doing. Because that attracts me to you in the sense of, okay, so you're not just in this for the money, you're in this for people's well-being. And I think that if you listen to Tim Ferriss or podcasts, listen to the people who really, and people who we've had on this show, people who have been on your show with
Well-Raised Radio,
Well-Raised
Joshua
Radio,
Coburn.
people who are doing things outside of themselves for other people, and that's their focus. They're not in it for themselves, are the ones who are really successful.
Dude, that's the voodoo. That's the voodoo part. Like,
Don't talk
all
voodoo.
the vibes.
Don't
Yeah,
talk
you
voodoo.
gotta get
Oh, that's
all
why
the
I don't like. I
good-
don't like calling it voodoo because even though we're talking about chakras and shit like that nobody understands, but you're right. It's 5,000 years old. Acupuncture
Right.
is 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So is Kama Sutra.
It
Should
helped
I go
me.
get a book?
It helped me. Hey, I have gotten acupuncture and it helped. I have congenital glaucoma. And I would have 25 needles in my face, inside my tear duct. I'd have a needle, and it felt better. I mean, I felt better doing it. And so I'm not going to dismiss it.
What's your guy's name again? Dr. Nate?
Dr. Nate Weber. Yeah.
Dr. Nate
He
Weber.
stabbed you with a bunch of needles.
He stabbed me.
Yeah, and your kids loved it.
My kid, see, I am memorable. I am memorable.
They were like,
Or
our dad
Dude, you
got
are
stabbed.
always memorable. You are always
my
memorable.
my kids made me memorable, I think, that day because my son, Reese, the youngest, loves it when I get hurt. He is so happy when he
you
sees
cause him
me.
pain. He likes to see you in pain.
He loves to see, a mountain. I mean, compared to him, he's 10. I'm a mountain of a guy.
Right.
To see Nate go, okay, you need to do this, legs a little bit further apart. All right, sit back a little bit. All right,
How
we're trying.
uncomfortable are you? Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, I loved it, Dad. Your face, you looked like you were in so much pain. I loved it. And Dr. Nate stabbed me with all these needles, this acupuncture, and he had asked me, have I ever had acupuncture before? And I said, yeah, sure, yeah. I've had it once before. And he put it in my shoulder because I told him I was having issues with my shoulder doing certain yoga poses. And he goes, all right, well, let me put these in. And he put them in. I'm like, this is nothing. And he goes, oh, no, I haven't set them yet. They're in. I just haven't set them yet. So I'm laying there on my stomach, and he sets them, and my arm is going, and you can just see it. You can see my whole shoulder just jumping off the table. My kid is just loving it.
Were you
loving
in pain?
No. It was just weird. It was
Weird,
just odd.
yeah.
You know, like if you ever
You
had
like
like an
feel your
electrode.
muscle twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
That's-
nerves are
it's that-
reacting.
It's that
and doing
involuntary
shit.
twitch, and he goes, "Yep, that's what I wanted to see." I'm like, "Good," because it's doing it. 'Cause it looks weird as fuck right now, but I'm glad that's what you want to see.
Well,
Okay,
the weirdest acupuncture I ever had was when I got to like a certain stage of acupuncture, then she was doing full body stuff, and I remember her putting the needles in my hamstrings, and they were going really deep. It was really deep acupuncture, and it didn't hurt, but the feeling.
of it like crunching through the layers of skin.
Yes, and into it was really, really uncomfortable. And because it was more of a mental thing. But I kept progressing through all that acupuncture. And so I didn't stick with it. It's one of those things. It's like if I had started the diet I did 10 years ago, where would I be today if I had really stuck with it? It's like I think about acupuncture the same way. If I had really stuck with it at that point and I had really believed in it and followed through with it, where would I be at health-wise if I had kind of stuck with that plan? Because at the time it was scary and weird and kind of quirky. This is at least 15 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Were you like in elementary school or something? And it was,
You just got to shame her like that.
I'm shaming myself. I'm throwing myself
We're old.
under the
No,
bus.
I
we don't
did
have
have
to s-
one. I mean, you do have those weird stories, and that's why when I say like I would do anything once because I've seen enough weird stuff happen. I at like 16 years old, I had a fever. Again, don't get sick very often. Was like super sick as a teenager, and an acupuncturist was like, "I'm gonna put a needle right here in the back of your neck, and your fever's gonna break in 20 minutes." And I was like, "Whatever, lady. I'm 16 years old. I don't give a shit." And so I'm like, I walk out of there, fever. Like I literally break out in sweat, and I like felt fine, and I was like, "Yep."
Why do
like
I feel like
that.
she's got like a ton of tattoos? Back in
that
high
we can't
school.
see?
Yeah, back in high school, she wore like black. She was just nothing black, dark
And see,
eyeshadow.
my lady would say, I would say something like that. She's like, and so you want to be suspended by hooks, huh?
You don't.
I would
though.
say, I would be willing to try it because I just don't know.
we got the invite.
We have the invite.
Do
we
you
had the-
really?
yeah.
I'll watch, but like I don't.
Now listen,
She's
but she
is it
says things like
sadist or is it a
weird-
masochist?
It's a masochistic kind of thing. I think that part of me is like going,
I didn't say I would enjoy it. I just
I'm-
said I would like.
Look at these two fuckers.
yeah, you stupid bastards.
Not
That's
me.
more so where I'd be.
They could be on a table. I could be poking with needles, and they want to hook by suspensions. Yeah. But I mean, there's part of me when I hear people say things like transcendent things happen, or these big like emotional things take place. I'm not like I'm not so focused on being hooked on hooks. I'm more of somebody saying it takes you to a whole another level of thinking or feeling or whatever. It's
Right.
not so much the hooks and the suspension that is like, which to me is the crazy part anyways. It's more of like what it could do for me personally. So if I hear about crazy shit when it comes to
Yeah.
chiropractor stuff or acupuncture stuff, it's not so much the needles and the shit that happens.
Right.
It's like, what can it really benefit me?
Yeah.
And so my lady is just like, yeah, you're the guy who wants to be suspended by hooks. And I'm like, if it can do something for me spiritually that somebody else is saying
Right.
can do A, B, and C, I'm not going to say I'm not going to
Yeah.
try it.
You know, it's funny when you say
You know?
that. To me, that's the extreme end of the paradigm.
Oh,
right?
for sure. Well,
Yeah.
is being skewered with hooks. Whereas
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about the power of the mind. And if you can go, even if your job sucks and what you're doing sucks, you're not very happy with what you're doing necessarily. If you can approach the people that you're working with a smile, if you can be silly, if you can just put on a little bit of a show, a positive show,
Right.
even if it's a tad bit annoying, which I think I am at times for people that I work with.
What's the definition of TAD, Dr. Anderson?
I don't know.
Clinically.
Again,
You're right, though. I mean,
But
if
if
you
you-
approach life, in a way of it is just not that serious.
Right. But hooks way over to one side. Whereas you can take baby steps and you can have a change in your mind, in your body, in the way that you perceive the world. I've told this example before on this show. I'll say it again. I used to work with a guy, fucking miserable dude. We both worked in the factory. He was just totally miserable, every fucking day miserable. From the moment I saw him to the moment he left, miserable. But we got along, right? He was at least nice to me, but he complained a lot. One day, happy as a clam, cloud 9. Hey man, what happened? You look totally different. You're totally happy. What's going on? He goes, I got a new job. "Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he goes, yeah, in 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to be at my new job. I'm like, that's great. But you know what's funny? Today is exactly like yesterday. Today, you're doing the exact same thing. You woke up the exact same way. You're doing the exact same thing. You're walking the exact same path, working the exact same job. But yet,
Your
today,
mindset is different.
today, you're fucking on cloud 9. Whereas yesterday, everyone wanted to shoot you.
You got to read this Mind Over Medicine book, and then we can do another podcast because it's just full of stuff like that where it's like this lady had terrible like arthritis in her whole body, and then she got divorced because her husband was shitty, and then her arthritis went away. Like it's like you're saying, completely was not related to her physically at all, but she had this change of mindset of like either whether it was freedom or whatever the hell she got away from, and then her body's like, we're good.
Well, and that goes to me to think about the idea that so if she could have found another way to change her mindset, it wouldn't necessarily been divorce. It was
Right,
her
yeah.
getting to the point where she understood what her thinking was
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
changing that.
Or-
I mean, I think that's
Or
that
the
goes to-
absolute thing was, let me cut out this cancer, but the cancer is the dude.
Right.
Yeah. Or the place. Like people could like, I just really hated my house. Like I hated where I lived or whatever. Or the
Right.
job. Or the
Right.
you know what I mean? It can
It goes. I think that's what is where the voodoo part comes into when you talk about is that when you hear about visualization with athletes, like it is a proven fact that if you take time to sit late, like and they have football, like the best football programs in America and high school levels. Some of what they do is they at the end of practice they lay down and put their heads on their helmets and lay on the ground, full pads, and the coach walks around, makes them close their eyes and visualize you being the best at your position. You visualize the best pass you throw, the best catch, the best tackle, whatever, and you sit there and you visualize that, and it has a deep impact on people. And so I think that if you can, so I still like the extremes, like the hooks. I'd be willing to try it. I would be willing to try
Yeah,
it. It scares the fuck out of me, but
I
I
don't
would
say
still,
no to anything
Yeah, I would be willing to try that.
except for a threesome. It's not going to happen. That's no. That's a no.
I still think that the voodoo part of those things is that mind piece that connects to the body. That's the part that really intrigues me the most is the mind piece, because if visualization works, and you listen to like Tony Robbins talk about like neurologically getting connected to your body about how you think about things has an impact on how you live your life. And then you hear about the chakras, and again, I go back to the voodoo thing. I don't like calling it voodoo because that makes it sound like it's frivolous.
Right.
It's not voodoo. It's legit. And we've shown that whether it's placebo or it's or it's visualization or whatever it is.
Just the fact that we have coined the term placebo, we have given a certain amount of credit to an unknown thing that we can consistently say it's so consistent, it's so reliable that we've placed it in every single laboratory test. It's not a test. It's not even accredited as a test unless you have a placebo attached to that test. You have to have the control. You have to have the placebo, and then you have to have the medicine.
Right.
Right?
Well, I mean, I have my first ex-wife. I hate saying that. She's a wonderful person, but she talked about doing a test at Drake College in Des Moines where they pull people in, they gave them vodka and orange juice, and as they gave them a drink, they had to do a certain amount of tests. You gave them another drink, it kept getting worse and worse and worse, right? The amount they were drinking, the tests, right? There was no alcohol involved, but she got sillier and less, like mindful about things. And I mean, so legitimately, it was all placebo. But she's the first person to say, like, I was getting drunk in this test.
I totally think I smoked nothing but ditchweed when I was a kid. I don't think I really smoked dope. I think it was ditchweed.
Really?
There was only a week span. There was a 7-day span where I smoked nothing but ditchweed.
It's the craziest thing happened.
But that was it.
It was a day, maybe a week, maybe a day.
No. I mean, no. It just wasn't one of those things where it's not like I smoked it for months or like I smoked it here and then a few weeks later I smoked it again. It was like I only fucked around with this one thing for 1 week, and it could have totally been a placebo. I have no idea. I have no fucking clue.
You thought you were smoking some kind of weed, and you thought it was like the cool thing to do, and that gave you a placebo effect.
Right.
Totally. Totally.
And it could have totally been something stupid. All right, Dr. Hannah, before it gets too late, what else?
It's only been an
I
hour
don't
and a
know.
half.
I don't know about the rest of the results. What else do I
Okay,
need to
so
know
let's do this.
about? Okay.
Let's just kick through all the rest of the shit that you have
cool.
for Matt, and then I can make fun of him later. It's perfect.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So what were you surprised about?
So the second thing we did was I sent you for a blood and urine sample.
Yeah.
No poop?
No poop. To figure out basically kind of a snapshot of your metabolism. This test is super cool because it tells you like what vitamins do you need. So I will get people who come in literally with like a tray or like a Target sack. They're like, I take all these vitamins. I'm like, you probably don't need them all. So you're spending like all of this money. So this test really helps us narrow down.
And he wants to know this too. This
Right.
is good.
What do you actually need? And what are you good at? Like whatever you're doing right now is working. In
coffee creamer.
certain aspects, yeah. Maybe not
What's
the
funny is
food
I got-
aspects, but
I got the beer out of the fridge, and I looked in there, and I was like, there's a lot of creamer in here. Oh, my God.
yeah. So for you, really, as far as you didn't have anything in this high need category as far as vitamins and minerals. So you didn't have anything that was like you probably have, which you don't have really any insane symptoms either, though. So if you were like, my like hands get numb,
did lose
and
all my
stuff
hair
like
on my
that.
head.
That's
Isn't
probably
that a
genetic,
symptom?
but, yeah, so I didn't really expect something totally crazy. So basically, it gives us a snapshot of what would be a good place for you to be with your nutrition as far as could you get it all from food or do you?
My first thought is anything.
Anything would be better.
If we can get a vegetable in his body.
Right.
Now, let's not mislead people who are listening and who have never met Matt. I like juicing. I like blending. At times I go in cycles.
You're right. You do. You're right.
I'm not opposed to any of that stuff. But when I get lazy
Right.
and time is a concern, I fall back on my easy, simple things. And one of my simple things is 1, coffee with creamer, 2, chips, 3, Pepsi, 4,
Snickers.
Hardee's strawberry milkshake.
Yes.
Hardee's strawberry milkshake.
There you go.
I think that
I almost
think
made
that-
her throw up.
I don't. What's weird is that I don't think of you that way because when you get on a kick, you will have you'll have a week's worth of mason jar salads in
Yeah.
your fridge,
Sure.
ready to go. You will sit there and talk to me and chat while you juice like crazy, or you made almond milk yourself that one time. That was fucking
I did,
crazy.
and it was delicious.
And it was good.
It was delicious.
And so, I mean, I don't think I want to call them kicks. Or time restraints. I think that, and this is me talking into my ass, so I can't do it either. Is prioritizing what you think is important and then doing what you know you need to do. We've talked about this a lot on our podcast. He and I know
self-sabotaging.
we're fucking stupid. We are, because we know exactly what we should be eating and what we shouldn't be.
And I'd say that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Well, and don't you think that? I mean, that's why I think there is something to.
There's no one who's like, do you know it sounds really bad for me? Diet and exercise. That sounds
Oh, God.
terrible. I'm not.
But I
That
think
will not help me at all.
Right. The hard part
Not
is
a lot of
that,
people like that.
I think that, I mean, I wonder, what's a weird kind of thing that I was thinking about earlier today when I was thinking about you coming in was because I have not been, my brother talked about, he and I both did, this is years ago, we did the lemon juice and cayenne pepper diet.
Like
Remember
cleanse,
that?
yeah.
yeah,
it's
the cleanse.
fucking-
Look at her. She's
I
like,
lost,
you're stupid.
I lost 20 pounds in 20 days.
I'm
Easy.
She can't even
Sure.
look at you right now because she's
Yeah,
like, you're
that's
fucking
so dumb. Yes. And
I
to this
just don't eat. I'll lose weight.
Yeah,
anyway.
and to this
true, though.
to the point.
It's true.
To this
Right.
day,
No,
when
it's so true.
if I smell like lemon juice or I love cayenne pepper, I put in things when I eat. But if I hear that, if I think of lemon and cayenne together, I can't. And
Yeah.
and honey, I can't do it. Right? It's terrible. But you guys started laughing.
You know what? Okay, but
okay, go ahead.
Here's the problem. Here's I think the biggest Matt problem when it comes to diet. I'm fed. I see so much different information that I will get hooked on greens for a while, and then I'll be convinced that green juicing
You're just
is
trendy.
bullshit, is horrible because I'm not getting fiber. So then I'll transition to blending, but then I get fucking dogs and I can't blend in the morning because my dogs freak the fuck out, so I don't blend anymore.
I thought you were blending in the garage. Was that? Not
I
happening?
tried that for a while. but that's part of, I think that's a huge part of society as a norm, as a whole here in the United States, is the internet feeds us so much information. Juice is probably great. That is great. I did a 9-day fat, sick, and nearly dead challenge, right? You've seen that documentary?
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Right.
It shows that by eating better things, he could get away from all of his medicine.
Well, and here, what you got to keep in mind, what's your starting spot? If your starting spot is
Super toxic.
milkshakes and Pepsi all day,
I feel like she's looking at me.
and then you go to green juices, like, hell yeah, that's going to be great. Like, no one should give you shit about juicing because you came from milkshakes and Pepsi.
right. But my mom, but you know what? But here's the norm. The norm, I always think of the norm as my mom, whether it's right or
Yeah.
wrong. My mom is like, you're fucking starving yourself. Stop it. Stop right now. You're starving yourself. There's no way you can survive off of just juice. Which she was right. I mean, the whole eating thing kind of drove me crazy. I
Right.
actually like chomping on
chewing.
something, not
Yeah.
chewing. But I think that is the main culprit of why people won't stick with something nutritious, because there's so many fads out there. There's so many different things that confuse you, distract you from, you know what? I've been doing this for so long. Todd was a vegetarian for a long time, long time. And I had a friend who said he's the fattest vegetarian I've ever seen. Because
So nice.
because you were a vegetarian, but you also ate a lot of sugar.
Right. Oh yeah.
You ate a shit ton of sugar.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you can do vegan wrong. You can do vegetarian wrong.
Right.
You could do
Yeah.
you could
But-
whatever ketosis. You could do that completely wrong.
But what
like,
you were saying earlier was everyone knows, diet and exercise. But it's easy to be confused. It's easy to be misled. It's easy to be distracted when you're not doing it right. There's certain things that we shouldn't do.
right.
There's certain
and
things that
everybody's body isn't the same either. Like,
which is why
this is why this kind
the
of
blood
passes.
test is super important.
However you want to get to being full up on nutrition, you can figure that out. Like, you can find the best route for you, whether you need supplements, whether you're going to be like a food monster and just do it through Whole Foods. That's awesome. But yeah, so we kind of bypass that like
Right.
how
So what
option.
what am I super low in for vitamins?
Stuff you're low in, a couple B vitamins, so B1, B3, B9, and B12, which are all really good for energy production. So if you're lagging because you need that
Yeah.
coffee all day, right?
Yeah,
So
yes,
those are
yeah.
those are huge for just your cells are like.
So I should just drink 5-hour energy because they have a lot of B
God.
I
vitamin.
bet great forms that are like totally made in the lab and won't work in your body at all. But yeah,
Well, you know what's funny is that you're talking about things that he should do.
yeah.
And like, I want to say that like, what's today? Thursday? Monday, Tuesday for me. When I came home, I was just pissed, in a really bad mood. I couldn't figure out why. And it was because I was so busy all day Monday until I got home and all day Tuesday that I didn't eat anything almost all day long. I was meeting to meeting to meeting.
Oh, you can't
then
make
next-
like you can't make the hormones that make you happy if you don't eat
Right.
food. Right.
And so even though me generally, like you said, I'm pretty much positive, optimistic.
Kind of like a Care Bear.
Okay. Yeah, rainbow light. Yeah, totally
Yeah.
like that. So, but I was sitting here. I remember like on Tuesday washing dishes. Go. Every sound I hear is fucking pissing me off. This is not me.
You're smashing.
And so I realized today, the last 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, I made sure that I had, when I walked out the door, I had something food wise in my hand. Didn't matter what it was, a bagel, something in my hand, eating as I walked out the door with water. And then the last 2 days, I made sure I came home for lunch. Luckily, I live really close to where I work. It's made the whole difference. So it goes back to that thing where, and I've had friends who are saying, "Oh, I try just to have this at lunch and this, and this." It's this really small amount of food. And again, like I said, when I say that we're functionally retarded and we're stupid, is that we know what's right, and yet I'll go 2 days without eating until dinner time, and I'll go 10 to 12 hours without eating any food, and expect myself to function at a normal rate, think and feel
Yeah.
at a normal rate. And then I'm like, why am I so pissy? Why am I so, grumpy?
Oh
Why
my
am I
gosh.
so shitty?
You guys, and if you guys have teenagers or are going to or used to, teenage kids will not eat all day and then they'll try and run a track meet and they're like, I didn't run a good time. And I'm like, cool, I know you won't listen to your mom, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't eat food all day and then you're going to run a track meet, good luck. Like, good
Right.
luck, you're going to suck because you didn't give your butt, like, what did you think you were going to do?
You know
And
what?
it's the most mundane thing, though. We think that we have to have, not that this isn't important, but it gets very complicated.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We think it becomes this big, complicated thing. You need to feed or fuel yourself on a regular basis throughout your day, or you are not going to be able to function correctly. We
Right.
can pinpoint things that'll be the best way to make you function for sure with this information for you because you're
Yeah.
old and you're getting fat and old. But,
And old. Go ahead and hit old
or
again.
old and fat
And bald.
and bald.
Yeah. Thank you.
But you think about teenagers, and I started thinking, when I started thinking the last 2 days, I thought about my 12-year-old, and I'm like, wow, I've had some struggles with him later on in the day. I wondered if his blood sugar or something is off
Right, yeah.
because he hasn't eaten as much as he needs to eat.
Yeah.
So he's a pain in my ass. I'm getting pissed, but maybe he needs to have a goddamn granola bar or something.
You
that,
know what?
Right.
I was actually going to ask you about this because I totally feel this way. And again, it could be a complete Matt way of thinking. My daughter has ADHD. She does pills for school. I've hated it. I've just always hated it. And I've always thought, and I've been, I'll start it like this. I've always thought that if I just do a better job as a parent,
That's
I could help my daughter.
no pressure.
He's not
on
laughing
yourself.
at you. He's
No,
laughing at
it's
your
Right?
thoughts.
It's just so like
Because-
every parent is like, what did I do where I caused
Well-
their ADHD?
well,
Which
honest-
it's
honestly,
the parent.
I
guilt,
buy
it's
the
real.
groceries.
Yeah.
I make the meals. I put the stress on her when she's doing homework. Like, there is a huge portion of stress, whether it's biological because I'm not feeding her the right food and her body's having a reaction, right?
Yeah.
To where you could be shitty because you're eating the wrong shit and you have inflamed intestines and you're not digesting stuff properly. You're not getting the right nutrients, so your brain's not working properly. So you're in a shitty fucking mood. Yay?
Right, yeah.
So why couldn't that be my daughter? And when she's in this shitty mood, because I'm feeding her shit every single day, not
Right.
knowing
Yeah.
that I'm feeding her shit every day, then I have low patience, limited amount of patience because I have a shit diet, which gives
Yeah.
her anxiety.
It's the chain
It's
reaction.
cyclical. It's terrible.
And then we take her to the doctor and we say, please drug her and make her smart.
No, I'll say
That,
this.
Yeah.
that is the American culture right
Well,
now.
I also feel that, I mean, my son has ADHD as well. Both my kids do. And I've changed their diet drastically over the last 6 to 9 months. It hasn't made necessarily an effect on them psychologically wise, I assume. They're not in school right now. But behaviorally outside of school, it's made a difference. If I feel like it hasn't made a huge difference in them. At the same time, the more therapy I go to myself personally, and I do go to therapy,
Dude,
and my
everyone
kids
needs
go
a
to
shank.
therapy, right?
Everyone needs it.
We all need to talk to somebody.
Wow, she is really
Thank
like
you.
you and her should really just go
So,
have
listen.
margaritas.
Yeah.
Doc, you and
Yeah,
I need
for
to get.
real.
I need to, this guy and I need to go to therapy together. Because what's funny is
Oh,
my
God.
therapist talks about Matt, and my therapist says, "So
Your therapist talks about
my
me.
therapist talks about how are you and Matt doing? Awesome, because
Yeah.
my relationship with him
It's
is
very
extremely important.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
she's always asking about him.
Oh my God.
So-
it's like sitting with two chicks in here. Right now.
So I think that the way we approach things when it comes to our mental health, I'm not adverse to meds. And knowing enough people who have benefited from medication, even, I mean, and most of the doctors that I know, like my pediatrician, when I first started talking about behavioral things at school, and it wasn't behavioral, my kid's a dick, but it was behavioral, my kid can't focus. She was like, I'll talk to him about it. She had conversations with him. She had conversations with me, conversations with my wife at the time. And we found that let's try 10 milligrams of this one thing and see how it works. It wasn't the mass med all the kids that we keep hearing about in the media. It was very simple, small steps to make sure it was handled the right way. Now, my pediatrician and my therapist are saying, maybe it's not ADHD medicine we need. Maybe there's some anxiety meds that we can work on. Maybe we can
Stuff is misdiagnosed.
right. And so we're
yeah.
slowly kind of, and I'm being really careful. And they know how paranoid I am about it. Like, okay, so I'm going to see this nurse practitioner. She's going to talk about these certain things and see maybe I can get him off an ADHD med and given a smaller dose of another med, and it can lessen his anxiety, and then that even helps his stuff at school even better than the ADHD med. And so I'm not adverse to taking medication to help solve a problem if it's something else that we don't know exactly. And if I found out broccoli solved all these problems, I'll do broccoli.
Right.
Too, for sure. Until I know that for sure, I'm
Yeah.
okay with finding these small things because of the people that I work with, whether it's a therapist or a pediatrician, they're all thoughtfully going through small, slow channels with me to find the best answer. They're not just doing this big blanket statement of, let's just give them all these things and they're all going to be covered. And so I understand your concern about the idea of meds being introduced
Right.
and nobody knowing anything about it. But my pediatrician, even my second son, when I put him on a medication, she goes, hey, I want to try this med with him. And I go, no, why can't we do the med that my other son is on? Well, this is supposed to be better and this is supposed to work this way and this way. And I was like, you're the doctor. I'll try it. Right. And we did it on a Friday. So we had the weekend to see how it worked. And he went fucking bonkers. It was terrible, right? My ex-wife was in tears. I was worried. And she's like, what can we do? I was like, I gave him the meds. We have to wait till they wear off. That's all we can do. And just keep him okay. And so we had to take those chances once in a while. But then we found a med that worked really, really well. But now we're trying to step through these things. Now, I understand your thoughts behind over medicating people, being concerned about, or just going to, let's get to the problem. Let's just give them medication and take care of it. And can nutrition be part of that? Absolutely. But I do think that there's parts of medication that can help people. My better half at this point knows that right now she is better off on a very small amount of medication that she knows helps her anxiety and helps some of the obsessiveness that she dealt with when she wasn't on it.
Right.
That's helped her be a much more clear-headed,
Sure.
thoughtful person.
Now, listen, I do not poo-poo.
I like that way you said
Thank you. I do not poo-poo the idea or the importance of medicine. What I do poo-poo is the idea that my daughter's doctor, when specifically asked, could you please just sign your fucking name so that my daughter can take an a food allergy test where they can just fucking do whatever and it'll tell us exactly what she's allergic to so that we can avoid certain things. And she said, no, and here's your ADHD medicine. That's the type of shit that drives me fucking crazy. Sure. When a doctor is so willing to push the fucking pill and not willing to look at other things. You know, just like what you said with your son, he took one pill and it is a chemical reaction in your body and he's a fucking lunatic, right? Until the medicine wears off.
Right.
Medicine is just like food. There is a chemical reaction that is happening with food like there is with a pill. So if somebody is reacting super badly to food, shouldn't we know that? And if it's happening 3 days later, like what we talked about at the beginning of the show, shouldn't we know that? But there's no way for me to know that as a parent unless I'm doing nothing besides food journaling.
Well, and you guys are hitting on like 3 really awesome topics. One is that a physician's only knows to tell you what they were trained in. So like I wasn't trained in medicine. I'm not going to tell you about medicine, but I was trained in food and nutrition and alternative healthcare. I can tell you about that. 2, so you can't fault you can't fault your pediatrician for not knowing about the nutrition because they're like, they paid $1 billion for school and no one taught them. So that's kind of not their fault, but the part that they could work on is the second idea, which is working with other practitioners, which sounds like your therapist and your pediatrician are very willing to be like, let's work with each other. And that's called co-care. Like, let's find, like, I might work with a pediatrician or work with a therapist. Like, let's just all do our best stuff to get this kid or this person the best they can be. And that's a whole different concept that some doctors just aren't willing to do, like not willing to even sign the form because they're scared. Like they don't know what that is, so they're not going to do it instead of being willing to learn about it. And then the last thing is this idea of going from least invasive to most invasive. So kind of what I'm assuming your goal is like, I would like to do the least invasive thing that is least likely to give my kids side effects or whatever. I'd like to start there. And if I have to end up at medicine, still,
sure,
let's end up there. That's
because
totally fine.
If I don't know that the omelet that I'm making for my daughter is making her fucking crazy, and I just keep feeding her this omelet every day because I think that's a healthy thing to do for her, but I'm putting onions and mushrooms and cheese, and she's allergic to dairy and eggs and mushrooms.
Right.
And then after I feed her the omelet, I'm giving her a pill to counteract all the shit that I just put in her mouth.
Yeah.
I should know what baseline is. I should just know.
It goes back, and maybe I'm really minimizing this or making it too simplistic. It goes back to the idea, though, if you or I or anybody was feeding ourselves and our kids a very clean diet, it would be much easier to diagnose if there really was something going on.
Yeah, right.
So are you feeding your kid too much gluten? Or are you feeding your kid too much this? No, because I feed my child these fruits and these vegetables.
Yeah, you got that baseline,
and these
right?
meats.
Of like,
I have these 3 food groups that I work from. There's no processed shit anywhere. There's no breads in here. There's no brownies. There's no shit. There's no little Debbie's. Nothing's in here at all.
You're just making me so sad right now.
No. It tastes good to my lips. When it hits my lips, I want to eat it too. I'm just saying that
tastes so good.
I think that if we had a better, we could have our own baseline.
Oh,
If we were just saying, you know what, I'll just go way off on a rant. I had my therapist. I have multiple therapists that I work with, obviously, and they said that.
Todd,
Yeah,
you're gonna scoot over a little bit because you're almost out of your little.
Sorry, my bubble.
Hide
Anyways,
my bubble.
so she said that. You fucker.
Sorry.
Just tell me
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, you're being helpful. We said about baseline clean food. Oh, cleansing. So she said that in the summertime, she goes, the best thing to start your summer off, if your kids aren't used to like having a normal routine, is to take 30 days off of all electronics, phones, tablets, TV, 30 days. And I was the first one to go like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. And she goes, it almost sounds like you're talking about his gut. Like, give yourself a cleansing. Right. And so from that point on, I found out that like they say that you shouldn't stop doing electronics, any screen time, 2 hours before you go to bed. for sure for adults, but absolutely for children.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no porn on your phone.
Yes,
Right before bed.
absolutely. And on top of that, your kids should have 1 hour of electronics a day. And so I go back to in my head going, my parents saying things like, "Gotta stay away from that TV. Only so much
You're
TV
sitting
a
too
day.
close. Yeah,
You're sitting too close."
You're gonna
Stuff,
ruin
right?
your eyes, kid.
But now all my pediatrician and my therapist are saying this is absolutely fundamentally proven that
It's ruining kids. Yeah,
it ruins
for
you.
real.
Like,
Yeah.
it destroys your brain cells.
Yeah.
It's almost like, back in the day when they had those eggs frying in the pan saying this is your brain on drugs,
Yeah.
even though marijuana's not that bad. They say that. Did I give away too much? Did I say
Somebody's
too much?
pro.
Somebody's pro marijuana. Anyways, I think that
I like
It's
brownies.
iPad. It's iPad now. Yeah.
Well, I think to that, and I go, okay, so they say that these are the new standards, and I wonder if that cleansing thing is almost the same thing. So let's go back to running around all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see those memes on Facebook and Twitter and shit like that of people saying like, my parents said, "Hey, get out of the house. I don't want to see you till 6 o'clock tonight."
Yeah.
And I went and rode my bike, and I went in the creek, and I went and jumped ramps, and I did all this crazy shit, and nobody thought twice about talking to me about things because I was out like expanding my brain, so to
Did you
speak.
have your helmet
But I
on?
wasn't.
Did you have your helmet? Did
Hey,
you have
my
your gloves?
Probably not.
my
Yeah.
son, because I've been back to work the last 3 or 4 days, and the summer has kind of changed. My son has gone to the pool with friends, and 2 or 3 hours in, I was like, I just want to go home. Why? We're all having fun at the pool doing things. He wants to be in the fucking Xbox. He's missing that time. He's had this lapse in his summer.
Got to get that fixed.
He's had, every single day this summer, he has not been on Xbox. And so now he's gotten back into the crack line, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And he's going, like, I had some friends today, so and so was like, just couldn't wait to go home. I was like, it was hot as shit today in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah.
I would have been at the pool all day
All
long.
day,
That sounds
yeah.
awesome to me. And they're like, yeah. He's just like, oh, can I go home? Can I go? Oh, let's go home. Because he wanted to get back on a fucking machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so that cleansing of the whole like 30 days. So my lady and I are like going, I think this might be a really good idea.
Well, if we're gonna go science nerd,
Do it.
Full science
Go
nerd. on you guys.
nerd.
So literally, your brain develops from back to front, like back of your skull or whatever, back of your brain to the front of your brain. All of your motor, like your motion input, like when your kid's like running, jumping, riding bikes, whatever the hell. That all of that information is in the bottom and causes that brain development from back to front. So if you're not actually getting that motion input, if someone's sitting on an iPad all day or whatever, and they're getting literally no motor at all, their brain cannot develop because it has to go motor to like motor cortex.
Okay, that's
goes
from a
first.
doctor, motherfucker. That
So
is from
listen,
a
I'm going to
doctor.
put her on the spot.
Listen.
So you tell me where I can find the literature to back that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have it like.
No,
on this
you
paper.
don't. No.
Can
And I'm not trying to be an
Yeah,
asshole.
no, that's totally
I'm saying,
fine.
so where would I go to find that? That's a better question.
Right. Yeah. Is that available to parents? It is.
Yes.
It's really hard to find. You'd have to like go like start researching neurological development. And
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like that's not the exciting fun news that people put on like CNN Health, right?
Because our
That's
fucking
not
TVs and an Xbox parent for us.
yeah, and sell a lot, and yeah, so
There's
it's-
money in that.
right?
And
absolutely.
is this
so,
your first kid?
Yes. Yeah.
You'll know.
I will.
You'll get it.
Oh, it's gonna
You'll
be
get it
an
pretty soon.
eye-opener.
All right, I would be remiss. That's another good word, right? I would be remiss if I didn't ask this specific question because there is a guy that I work with who wanted me to ask you this. Can you say you have a food allergy?
Yeah.
I have some symptoms, right?
Yeah.
Is there a way to reverse food allergies? Or is that like just so severe? Fuck it.
If
But we
you
can
have
work
like
on
a
symptoms.
true allergy, like I have like a peanut allergy, like, and that's like an allergy, not a sensitivity, right?
Right,
That's your question.
right, yeah.
That it kind of depends because some people say like peanut allergy, you kind of grow out of it.
Okay.
Allergy to some people will develop allergies as adults. Like I have a friend who developed a cucumber cantaloupe allergy as a grown person.
That's odd.
Yeah,
That's odd.
weird,
I
right?
Love
hay-
cantaloupe.
hay
God, I hope
fever.
I want that
I mean,
allergy.
I can understand hay fever.
Yeah.
I've had no allergies. My sister is a complete weakling. She shouldn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any of that stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Whereas she's allergic to everything. But now I can't hardly mow the lawn,
Yeah.
and it just kind of messes me up. So does your DNA truly hamstring you?
Well, it could kind of go back to that epigenetics thing too. But I mean, so everyone is exposed to grass or whatever, right? But not everyone has a grass allergy. So there's got to be some difference between us that makes us not all have a grass allergy, even though we're all exposed. So could, like I said, your immune system needs certain stuff to fight if it doesn't have enough nutrients, or like say it's busy fighting your organic chemicals and stuff, and it's like, I'm not going to mess with grass. Like I'm just going to let those guys freak out. Like I'm not going to come fix it for you. So there could be like a billion reasons why your body isn't going to
react to
your allergy. Right. Or if you're, you hate your life, you hate your job, you're whatever, your body's really not focused on helping you out with your allergies, right? So it's kind of the same thing with like physical pain, or someone's in a ton of structural pain, like they just can't exercise, they can't whatever. Their body's just going to be less apt to help with that. It's just an immune system reaction. So it's, is their immune system either like way too jacked up because it's got a lot going on, or is it underperforming? Like it's not helping enough. So
okay.
I like the idea though that your body is freaking out. And it's starting to like divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Fuck this grass allergy. I got to do this. I have to deal with this thing over here.
Suffer.
The guy's eating a gallon of coffee creamer. So forget the grass allergies. I got to deal with this. No, I'm not trying to pick on you necessarily, but I'm saying it has to start dividing and conquer to survive.
Right. Well, and that's, you'll notice people who are like have a lot going on with them. Like you're saying, you're like, I just like never really had all those symptoms and stuff like that. We also don't have a huge nutritional need. If someone came in and they're like, listen, I have all my joints hurt. I have a ton of, I have allergies that are all year long. I have all these symptoms, and then they come in and they're like, they need every nutrient in like the high need category all the way across the board. It's like, well, yeah, you're either using more than the average person because you have all this crap going on, or you don't have enough in the first place, and so your body can't take those and make building blocks and actually do what they need to do. So,
okay. Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is a major misconception that people might have regarding nutrition? Like, what is the big thing that you're kind of annoyed at as a
well, you guys have already had someone talk about how low fat's a sham, right? Like that was the last guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Well, isn't that weird though? That was the one thing I was going to talk about.
But it's still super popular because my wife will still grab shit that's
low fat yogurt,
low fat, no fat. I'm like, God damn it! Would you just grab the shit that says I have all the fat you want, bitch?
I do. I now when I go to Starbucks
and it has less sugar.
I go whole fat.
Yeah.
Milk in my lattes or whatever I have, and now when I buy yogurt, I make sure I buy full yogurt, full fat yogurt.
And people don't understand your brain is literally insulated in fat. Like that's what makes the signals go from your brain fast enough to the rest of your body that your brain can actually think. It's because it's got this insulation of fat. Like your brain is just like if you cut it open, it's white because there's just a ton of fat in there, and that's good. That insulates stuff to make it go super fast. If you don't have that fat, like, good luck getting that signal. So, yeah, that's why it's kind of bogus.
So that would be like a
funny,
major misconception.
Which is funny because then you start talking about like these shredded, crazy-looking athletic bodies that we all think that we needed to start striving for. And I bet you if they died and you cut their head open, they wouldn't have any of that fat that they could be thinking with or insulated with.
That's a really pretty image, but I don't think any three of us
Well, I'm just saying that it sounds like to me that a healthy body has healthy fat. Yeah. And that could be a brain that's well insulated. Right. I would say that, you don't want to be obese.
Yeah. Well, if you have so much that your body's like, we're good in the brain, we're going to start hiding it down here. Yeah, that's also different.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there has to be some kind of like, what did she used to say? Everything in moderation.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and so Dr. Marks was saying the other day, he's like, he was a vegetarian for a long time, and his kids and his wife are really big vegetarians. Mm-hmm. He just started, was it seafood that he started introducing into his diet in Australia?
I'm not sure.
I think it's just seafood. But he was like going, well, I'm starting to see that lean, healthy proteins are okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to start. But he also said he ate a very high fat diet. And so for me, I am like fucking Mr. Butter, man. I love butter. Go that way.
You can give me a hard time.
Go that way. So I like butter, right?
Yeah.
And so when somebody said to me that organic butter is really good for you, you know, and I don't put a half a cube
You're
of
like,
butter on
"Yay."
a broccoli,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I will definitely, when I have the opportunity, if I have a baked potato, I'll put at least 2 tablespoons of organic
Right.
fatty butter on there.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mind, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to switch the idea that instead of eating no food, right, no caloric intake, I'm going to start eating some calories, but then healthy fats. That is better for me than not eating really bad simple sugars
Yeah, absolutely.
or not eating at all.
Right.
Because I mean, like I said, my lady was like, "Did you eat anything today?" And I was like, I don't know. I was so
I
busy,
can't remember,
but I couldn't
yeah.
remember. But at the same time, I was also willing to forget about eating. To be quite honest, right? In my mind, I'm thinking like I won't eat. I mean, there are times when I won't eat fruit because I know it has sugar in it. Well, that's a hell of a lot better than it is from eating sweet tarts, right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
So I am going. I'm going to hold back from eating sweet tarts, hold back from eating a Snickers bar, but I'm going to not eat a peach, which is probably the best thing I could probably eat that day
Right.
if I'm going to eat nothing at all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's that misconception that one diet is good for everybody, and it's like, yeah, that diet, like that's what everyone should eat. Because there are people that can be vegan and they're healthy, and there are people who are vegetarian and very healthy, and that's
Right.
fine. That's not for everybody, but also, you know, really hardcore paleo might not be for everybody either.
Right.
So it's kind of like not everybody's body is the same. People might work out a ton or not work out at all. They might be on medications where they need more of a certain nutrient or something like that. So it's like as far as misconceptions go, the idea that everyone needs to eat the same thing
Right.
is also
Is that
totally
why
bogus.
when Dr. Marks, and he is a family member of mine,
Yeah.
he's on our podcast from Australia, and when he and Matt told him that you were doing all the blood work and we were looking forward to having you in,
Right.
he was like, "That's awesome that you did that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did that because I want to hear what your stats are and what happened."
Yeah.
You know, and I was like going, "Oh fuck! Does that mean that I have to do the same thing? I don't want to know this information. I don't want to know it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know that, of Dutcher and saying that
You just bought chickens and now you can't have eggs.
Yes, you own chickens
Exactly.
Lulu and Beauty. I can't eat their eggs.
You know what? You can cover this after the show because I'm sure you got to get going. I want to ask you a few other questions though.
Yeah.
Right, real quick.
Yeah.
If somebody's listening to this today, they're overweight, they want to make a change, what is something that you could suggest that you would say, you know what, if you focused on this, look at what you're doing with this
Yeah.
and change it, what would be that one thing that people could make that change on that would make a dramatic change for them?
Sugar's a big deal, but a lot of it is if you made food at home, like if you literally knew what was
Wow.
going into your food,
2 for 2, Dr. Marks.
and you, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like when you eat at a restaurant, even if you're ordering something healthy, you have no idea what's in there. Like unless you're asking us, unless you're a mom who I just gave this panel to, and she's like, "What is every ingredient in that food?"
But if you look at a package of like hamburger buns,
Right.
there's like
There's like
40
40 ingredients.
No,
Yeah.
there is 100
Yeah.
ingredients in it, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a huge part of and that just takes away so much garbage. Like if you're to actually make the garbage you go out and buy at fast food, that'd be so much work. It's
Right.
like,
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's so much work. And generally, like what you were saying earlier, we are built to eat diverse things, right?
yeah. So if you bought turkey sandwich and you ate turkey sandwich for like every day for a year, still, even though you're eating at home, probably not good. But yeah, if
Right.
you,
But Tim
Yeah.
Ferriss, have you ever read
Yeah.
4 Hour Work Week or 4 Hour Body or Tim Ferriss? He specifically says, right now, if you're starting this transition, this change for your body, pick 3 meals because generally we don't eat that diverse of foods anyway.
yeah.
So if
Right.
you're gonna eat something, don't think that when people think, "Oh, I'm gonna be on a diet, I'm gonna really restrict. I'm only gonna eat these things." Well, you might just be eating these things. It might be a variety of 6 things. Well, generally, you're only eating a variety of 6 things anyway, right?
That's what
So-
you said today. The same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Right. So if you're only eating the same breakfast every day, but you knew that it was healthy, right? If you knew that you weren't susceptible to eggs and milk and all that stuff, and you were making what was good for you, and you knew that your lunch, even though you're eating the same fucking lunch every day, was good for you. It was optimal for you. He is saying, pick 3 meals, have them every day. At least you know you're doing the right thing, and you're not worried. You're not stressed about, I got to make all these different fucking salads. I got to do all these different juices and blends. Just keep it simple.
It's too hard. I'm not going to start.
Right,
Yeah. And that's a lot of times
exactly.
why we do the salad workshop is because someone's like, I came and did that and it was so easy and then I could go home and do it. But would they've ever done it without us laying out all the food and giving them some jars and
Yeah.
whatever? No, they would never have
Right.
done it. But if they came and did it and they're like, that wasn't hard, I'm going to go home and do it. That's like part of it is, especially when I give parents super complicated food lists for their kids, then I'm just like, it's gonna suck, but it's gonna become your new normal. And it's not in 3 months from now. It's not gonna be hard because you've done it all.
Right.
I'm gonna jump off real quick. Do you have people come to you approaching about children the behavior of their children and seeing if they can help nutritionally for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Kids, anxiety, like you said, anxiety is often misdiagnosed as something else. I have a lot of kids that come in with anxiety, and a lot of it too is like there's so many pieces to the puzzle.
Right.
Is part of it food? Totally could be. Like with your daughter, like part of it could be food, but is part of it also like 10 other things? Yes or no?
Her dickhead dad.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So she needs
Yeah.
to go to Todd's therapist and like, yeah. Right.
Talk about daddy
Right.
issues.
So that's part of it or whatever. And so if it's part of the problem, then yes, absolutely. And we've seen like a lot of parents will be like, he's a totally different kid when we stay off of these foods. And then some parents will be like, they slept better, but we didn't see any behavior change. But like, it's like, okay, well, would you just like to keep your kids sleeping better? They're like, hell yeah. So like, fine. We didn't
They're
get
good to
exactly
go.
what they got,
Yeah.
but they got something. So yeah, it's all part of it. It just might not be the whole answer. Because people really like to find that, right? Like, what's the golden ticket?
Right,
like, what is
right,
going to change
And it's
everything?
never,
And it might not be
never-
one thing, yeah.
It's never gonna be.
I was
that
actually,
thing.
when you and I were talking earlier, and you said, "Are you okay with her saying your stuff on the podcast?" And I thought,
never said that because I could not wait for her to.
and I
just
thought,
empty your garbage all over the table.
I thought,
couldn't wait.
I truly I'm expecting worst case scenario.
right?
Stuff.
Yeah.
We should real quick say what else you're deficient in.
Okay,
so that people know.
really quick. All right,
So,
I am fucked up. Let's.
couple B vitamins, couple antioxidants, like vitamin C. That probably comes from not eating vegetables a lot. Vitamin C. Fish oil. Like you could really use some fish oil, which
A
is
ton,
just
right?
a good anti-inflammatory, good brain food. The one thing that's kind of interesting for you, I had
Interesting. I can't wait.
mentioned. So when we looked at your metabolism, it looked like you had really low protein, but you're kind of confident that you're like, no, I eat plenty of protein. So there's 2 options. Either you don't eat enough protein for what you do. Your body just
Okay.
requires more, which very could be if you've always been this like freak athlete. Your body's just used to needing more.
Yeah.
Or option 2 or B. I don't remember if I started with number 2.
Todd does that all the time.
yeah.
Or I don't have the bacteria to break it down.
You don't,
correctly?
yeah, or the enzymes. So enzymes, digestive enzymes would take food, our carbs, proteins, fats, break them down into sizes that we can actually use.
Right.
So you could be eating a ton of protein, but if you don't have the enzymes because you don't eat enough fresh food or whatever, like your body just doesn't have it, then it's like, well, we can't use that. Like we're probably just going to pee it out or whatever.
Right.
So you could not. It could look like your body needs protein, not because you aren't eating it, but because you aren't breaking it down. So digestive enzymes showed up for you, and then vitamin D, which is it's kind of like one of those.
And is it
coverall.
D3? Is that the
D3.
big?
That's just
big
the active. The active form. So there's a bunch of different like B vitamins
Sunshine.
have like 10
is
different
it
forms.
sunshine?
Because you're my
Yeah.
sunshine, Todd. Maybe I'm
No,
just
I
not
mean
getting
You're
enough
if
full
you
up.
wear you wear full on like anti UV.
Oh, I do. I hate sunburns, so I
Yeah.
will wear my boonie cap because I'm bald,
Right.
and I'll wear like a long sleeve white shirt.
Yeah.
I
that's
totally,
UV rated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate because I fucking hate sunburn. So
Yeah. So then
I
you
will cover
would
up.
be a good candidate for a vitamin D supplement because it's like you don't want the
I'm a
the
total
other
old man.
option,
Look.
which is fine. I
Or
mean,
you could wear fucking sunblock and get a little bit of natural vitamin D and not be a freak in the pool.
Well, even at like even at our like latitude and longitude, be super hard to get. Like you're not gonna overdose. You just just because of where you live, you aren't situated towards the equator enough that you're gonna get enough. Unless
You could
wanna go
burn.
and-
You could
Yeah.
burn for sure, but you're not going to get an overdose of vitamin D.
Right.
Okay.
So.
Interesting. I
those
love
are
it
kind of
because when
your
I go to the
things.
pool with him, right, I'm spraying on lotion
Well, the
like
other
normal,
thing
and
is
I like
I'm
getting. I don't mind
fatter.
being tan,
Yeah.
but he also is just like he looks like he is the big, humongous, fat white
Do
guy.
the white stripe down your
No,
Nope.
I don't do that. No.
He has a beanie cap on. He doesn't worry about that, but he does act like
Not beanie, a boonie.
Boonie. What the
Beanie's
fuck
like
ever?
some weird, stupid
a
fucking
propeller.
saying.
Gator hat.
Boonie cap is like, yeah, the military guys wear that.
Okay. Anyways, when I go to the pool with him with all of our kids, he is in full garb,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, we're gonna.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's that, and I'd be lying if I said it partially, if not mostly, was I would take my shirt off more if I was comfortable with how I looked. You know, and if I took my shirt off more when I was mowing the lawn or washing the car or taking the dogs for a walk,
Like
I wouldn't.
less pale and
I would be less pale. And my wife had posted a picture on Facebook. I was playing basketball with my kids out in the rain. So we have like a little basketball court behind our house. And
The whitest man.
the most common
paper.
response was, dude, you need sun.
It doesn't
And you're like,
help.
I know because my lab results.
I
are
know
terrible.
because Dr. Hannah told me so.
I know because my kids are
I have
half
no
of
vitamin D.
my kids are half African American. So if I'm staying around a bunch of black kids and I'm the whitest man in the area,
I'm like a fucking light bulb.
I'll be a light bulb.
I'm like a light bulb.
yeah,
with my kids.
if you're with my kids,
Yeah.
you would not be a light bulb.
No, because your kids are like albino.
Yes, they're crackers all the way to the core.
Let me see. Let me check my questions really quick if there's anything else. Oh, one last thing. Is there a particular age that's important that you're like, you know what? If you hit this, it's like a prostate exam. If you're this age, you really need to get checked. Is there a certain age where people should, men or women, should come in and get their blood checked? Or is it just one of those things where everyone should know what their baselines are?
Like ideally, like everyone should know what their baseline is, but your body needs certain things as your body changes, right? So like a teenage girl is going to need something different than like a menopausal woman. Those are different. So would you, like women who are having kids are having a little alien come suck out all their nutrients, right? And then they're going to try and have another kid off of
yeah.
nothing. So should
Total
you check
alien.
probably in between pregnancies and see what's completely low? Absolutely, but like you or like you said, age 38, you're like, all of a sudden my body was different. Like that would have been, you're like, something is different. That's a good time for me to check and see what my new normal, my new body needs. So kind of like those just stages of life, right? Like you have teenage kids who are super active and are doing all these kinds of crazy things, and then they get done with college, and then they just have a different lifestyle. They're working or they're whatever. That would be another good time to check. Getting into the middle age range there, that's another good time to check. And so kind of just when your needs change, when when your body, you're like, wow, I'm a different person than I was.
That was one of my questions too, is like going, at what point do I say, okay, this is great information, I can go off of this, I change all of these things, and then 10 years down the road, how do I know it's still working the way it should be? I guess you would know if you lost weight or you felt better and those kind of things. But
Yeah.
You know what? It's
I mean,
not,
and I'm not
it's not
questioning
very
what you did,
expensive.
but-
It's not expensive to get these tests. I just had these tests done.
are
I still have to
both-
pay my bill.
Both
But-
around or one of them is under 200. So
Yeah.
really, like max, you're spending $400. You're getting a ridiculous amount of information
Max.
about yourself.
That's max. Now my wife
and
asked
no
me about that.
insurance
She
at
goes,
all?
"Are you?"
Insurance doesn't cover this at all? or-
The,
Yeah. No.
the blood and urine it does, not
Yeah.
the food one.
Right.
The food one was how much? Just throwing it out there.
215 at our
Okay.
Like my wife asked
Bad.
me, "Are you sure you want to spend money on this right now?" I go, "Listen, I could either spend this money on this, and then I have fucking facts. I know for sure what I am receptive to and what I am not. Or we can spend that same amount of money at the grocery store and I could feel fucking miserable for the next week or two.
Right. Yeah.
And then we spend the same amount the next couple weeks and I just continue to feel like shit. But at least now I know scientifically, fact-based, that these are the things that I should not be eating or I should be eating or that I'm low on.
Do you ever feel like media influences what you eat?
For sure.
Because like my brother and I, when we did the whole, I never got to that part about the whole lemon and cayenne thing, is we didn't realize that every single commercial on television had to do with food. So you're sitting there going, I'm starving, right? And then every single food is Applebee's or
Thick burger commercial.
yeah, something like that.
So,
yeah.
like right now would be a great time for you to start a new cleanse because you're not watching.
Well,
TV,
I don't want to do it. I
Todd.
don't want to do a cleanse. I just wonder if that perception influences how you think about things. Would it be quite as hard? Could he could he shift his diet so that it adjusts to what is beneficial for him according to your data? But he's still thinking about fucking Pepsi or a Snickers bar. Because listen, I've been watching the Olympics because I love the Olympics, right? And it's like every fucking chance, every like timeout when it comes to men's or men or women's like a volleyball, fucking go to commercial so they can talk about McDonald's or whoever it is that's sponsoring it. And so I start wondering, going, is that have an impact on us? So that was like you never stop not thinking about food, and those foods are all super cheap, super convenient, and the fucking worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you
for
guys ever in the grocery store with your kids and they're like, I want that cereal. And you're like, why? They're like, I don't know. I never had it before, but I definitely want it. And you're like,
Yeah.
how? How would you even know that? And it's because they
Right.
watched Nickelodeon for so long and every 5 commercial breaks was the same commercial about.
Tricks are for kids.
Right. Yeah.
And it's worse
They're
because
like,
when
that's
I was
what I want because I know what that button
when
is.
I was a kid, there was probably I shouldn't say this. I feel like there was like 10 cereals that were out there, and I wasn't allowed to have fucking any of them.
What
Right?
did you eat, Todd? What did you eat?
Like I think when
Oatmeal?
Special K, oatmeal, absolutely oatmeal. Special K, like nothing that had sugar in it.
I fed
and my
my-
kids, up until they were like 10, had like Honey Nut Cheerios was like the sugariest cereal that they ever had. And my lady is the one who's like, I'm okay if they have sugary cereal once in a while because at lunch we're going to have fruits and vegetables, and at dinner we're going to have these things. And so if they have some shitty cereal in the morning, I'm okay with that because they have these things later on in the day.
Right.
And I was like, hey, I'm in with that.
The opposite is you can be super neurotic and then your kids grow up to like be terrified of food, right? Like you can totally go the other direction of like you like say this is where since I am kind of like in the health, I'm like, am I gonna make this kid that's like just terrified of food because I didn't let them have anything bad,
Right,
so they have
right.
no perspective. So then there has to be that moderation, that checks and balances of
Right.
like, no, you can have it, but they need to know it's like a special occasion. They need to know that like it might not be doing the best thing in their body, whatever. But I'm not going to terrify them to this. They're like,
Right.
I only ate 4 almonds.
See,
today
I was gonna
because
ask
Well,
my
see,
mom-
Joe Rogan to me is like
Right.
the poster child for that because
he's the poster child for a lot of things.
He's the one who says things like, the people are like, hey, so you don't let your kids ever have this or that? And he's like, no, if my 5-year-old wants a bowl full of ice cream, I'm going to say, here you go. I hope you like it. Just so you know, we're not going to have a lot of this because it's going to taste really good. But later on, you're going to feel probably not so great because your stomach's going to hurt
Right.
because you've had too much sugar and too much cream and all these things. It's just too much for you. So we're going to do things in a smaller amount. I mean, he really talks through things with his kids
Oh, yeah.
much beyond what I would ever do.
Right.
I mean,
Who would ever have thought? I would never have thought 10 years ago, I want to be like Joe. I think Joe is, I think Joe Rogan is the way he talks about his kids, the way he talks to his kids, the way he describes talking to his kids.
Right.
It's just such a beautiful, adult, responsible way
but
to
simple.
do it. But you're
very
thinking,
simple,
no,
though.
not the guy from Fear Factor. No, not
the
the guy who
UFC
does
guy.
the UFC guy. Not him.
When he talks about me, he laughs about talking about grilling out a bear heart in his backyard in his underwear. He is saying to you that I'm just like everybody else. I'm eating the healthiest fucking meat you could possibly imagine
It's
at
so
that
weird.
time.
It's so weird.
And I'm teaching my kids that yeah, once in a while you can have this stuff, but I'm going to tell you that it's not the best thing for you. But what Dad eats and what Dad cooks is better for you.
Right.
And so he's not shaming it. And my therapist is big about this. You're not shaming somebody into something.
Right.
You're not pushing somebody into something. You're just saying this is the way things are. And the hard part about that though is that you have to separate yourself, because my problem with me and my kids and their behavior is I take it personally. When I see them behaving badly, I'm like, I fucking suck as a parent.
Guilt. It's dad guilt. It's exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about. You got dad
I'm a
guilt
shitty.
'cause
I'm a
you-
shitty parent.
Well, I only
did
think that about the
No.
education.
I think about it all the
anything else.
time.
I'm great.
I think about it all the time. I fucked up somewhere, and now I'm having to deal with this. What can I have done prior that I didn't do, so I don't have to keep fucking dealing with this? And so I think that I get into this mode of I handle this stuff as like a personal affront to me. Then I handle it poorly because it's a personal. It's like somebody who is you're a fucker. And I react to that. My kids don't say that, but I don't. They don't. They don't handle the things that I think the way I think they should, and so I take that personally. And the biggest thing that I've learned in therapy is saying things like, "This has nothing to do with you. It's a behavior, and you deal with that behavior, and you deal with it. You don't react to it."
Right.
Right. And so it's got to be the same thing. So I was thinking about on the way here today, I was thinking like, I was going through a lot of things in my head because nutrition is, again, we've talked about this forever together. And I had to start realizing that maybe the blood sugar is a thing with him, with my son, who he didn't eat enough during the day. And so in the afternoons, it's fucking horrible because he hasn't eaten enough. Right. And so that's part of it because I just dealt with it the last 2 days, like I said. Right. And so I'm trying to like rationalize, and I'm trying to be a better parent by realizing that there are parts that I can play and there's parts that I can't. And then find the best way to solve it. And if I can remove myself by saying, oh, wait a second, it might be this thing over here, and I can separate myself from it, I can deal with it so much better.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm a terrible communicator. When I get pissed off and upset, I shut down. I just get quiet.
I'm gonna go in a room by myself.
Yeah. And my lady is just like, so if she says to me, you seem upset, what's wrong? Or anything like that, right? I can't function very well that way. But if she says to me, you seem really quiet, what are you thinking about? Walk me through what you're thinking in a very like clinical way.
Yeah.
Then I'm just like,
Fine.
oh, well, I'm thinking about this, this, and this. And so I don't have any like guards up anymore.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with my kids. If I can find a way to take away the emotional, like reactionary parental part of it, it seems to be so much easier.
Right. It just being like straightforward. Because I think what we're kind of talking about, like applying to food and stuff, you can see that apply to how parents control like their kids' media. Like if someone, like I had cousins and stuff, like their moms and dads were like, you can't watch anything. Like their mom would turn off the commercial. If there was like a tampon commercial, she would turn off. Those kids are so sheltered. Like, what are they going to get? Me and my brother were like watching Saturday Night Live as 4-year-olds, just like, this is great, you guys. We had no, obviously it was like going over our heads. We had no idea what was going on. But
Horrible
if something came up, our parents were like, this is just what just happened. Like, no, it's not appropriate, but just so you know, like, this is why this applies and stuff. And like just reason through it. Like you can reason through a lot of that stuff. But if I would have grown up like thinking that like all of that was bad and like, oh my gosh, then what do you turn into if you're that sheltered?
My wife and I were just because the 2 Great Danes took off her arms. We've been binge watching Game of Thrones.
Ditto, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have HBO Go?
No, we've been renting. We've been renting from the.
Oh, so you're
Family
behind.
Video.
I'm a season behind.
Yeah. I just purchased through Amazon Prime. Amazon, I love you. The last season. So this fall we'll be all caught up, right? But anyway, we started like decent parents. We started watching Game of Thrones like decent parents. We would say, hey, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Like we have 2 kids, we have 2 boys that are 10 and we have a 12-year-old daughter. And we would say, get the fuck out of here. It's inappropriate. and then
especially season 1 when you have a guy sitting at a keyhole getting a blowjob while he watches through the keyhole of a threesome.
Right.
And then something else is happening behind them. And I'm going, wait a second.
Yeah, we started off good. And now we've gotten to this point. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here, but we've gotten to this point now where we're just like, hey, just don't look at the TV. And there is a rape scene happening, and somebody's saying, I'm gonna fuck you and your grandchildren. What? It's like the most horrible thing somebody
Oh
could
yeah,
say.
I can't watch half that show. I'm binge watching it like with my
You
pillow.
are.
Have you seen the red? Have you seen the Red Wedding yet?
You know what?
No, I don't think so.
You know what? That's
I'm not that far.
No, you're not.
Okay.
You're not that
You're
far.
not
But
that
you know
far
what?
yet.
That was a much to do about nothing. But I have two 10-year-olds and a 12-year-old that were like, hey,
Right.
just don't look at the television. And it's weird because it's just two people naked having sex, which I know is going to make everybody go, well, of course you don't want your kids watching that.
Right, but if you make that a bad
But
thing.
that is the total, if anything is normal, eating and fucking are the two most normal things besides
For
shitting.
adults.
Yeah. But listen, I'm just saying human beings, and I'm thinking of kids as human beings because they're going to grow up. They're human beings. So going to the restroom, eating, and fornicating are the most normal things that the human body, people can do.
Mm-hmm.
But we will say, don't look at that naked woman having sex. But I do want you to listen to. I do want you to hear. I don't think it's that bad for you to hear. I'm gonna rape you, and then I'm gonna kill your family. I don't know what accent that is, but I'm trying to go off of Game of Thrones
That's
a little bit.
way closer than whatever that pirate
I'll
is.
show you.
It's kind of,
It's-
right?
No, not even close. Go ahead.
But I just think that's kind of weird. Isn't that kind of weird?
Well, you think about, and then go back to like Europe, where they have commercials on TV where people are taking showers, and the soap commercial has a woman taking a shower naked, or a guy taking a shower naked.
Yeah.
It's not
not
so
weird, yeah.
taboo. And
Right.
see, and I've always been one of those people that was much
That's
more.
voodoo.
I was much more prone to the idea that I would much rather my kids see, sex in a movie or a TV show or anything or any kind of media
Yeah.
than it would be violence. I mean, so that we're so concerned
Yeah.
about people fucking in a TV show, but we'll watch 100 headshots with a rifle in.
well, they
The
play
Walking
video
Dead.
games. They
Yeah.
play video games
Yeah.
where they're actively shooting
Yeah.
people in the head, and they're like, "Dad, watch this." It's a sniper game on my wife's iPhone. It's a sniper
What's your
game.
goal? Just to kill as many people as I can kill.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Like,
so cool.
That's
how
healthy.
about everybody says, no, that's not cool. Watch this video where two people are having sex. There you go. That's so much cooler.
It's all
Look,
weird.
That's up to
he
us.
gave her the
though.
O.
That's
Look.
us. Though. He gave her the O. That's up to us, though. We promote the things that we find are important or not important.
All right, Dr. Hannah,
Yeah.
was there anything else that was shocking? I mean, we talked about the B vitamins and the omega-3, which that's what I'm kind of taking away from this, right? The B vitamin, the omega-3,
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
vitamin D.
Because of your sun shirt.
Yeah,
Cracker.
I'll get
Cracker
I'll
to
get-
the core.
I'll get a little bit more sun. Okay.
Uh.
Was there anything else that was kind of you might want to address this?
Just that the the enzymes to help you actually use your food. So it might not.
So probiotic.
Yeah, and then the enzymes are kind of a separate deal. So you kind of got two. One kind of works to repair that gut and keep everything healthy, but the enzymes will actually help break down your food so that you're using it better.
Okay, so like if I went to Target or somewhere, what would I kind of look for?
First of all, don't go to Target.
There you go.
Bum, bum.
You should order from
Walmart.
No.
How about I just go to
Go
Pack
to-
in Line?
Go to
How about I go to your website?
Go,
Okay, so wait,
go
wait.
to someone who is trained because they will get. So you've probably seen the articles that are like, your vitamins are filled with cardboard, like they're
Right,
useless, they're whatever.
exactly, yes.
Some of them are because it's not
It's not. It's
FDA
It's a
approved.
dietary supplement which falls under a different category, and the FDA could basically give a
Yes.
shit less.
But I don't understand that. So enzymes are the things that break down your food in your stomach, right?
Yeah.
And probiotics are a healthy gut absorption of
They're
nutrition,
doing like
right?
signals. They're helping absorb stuff. They're making sure all the cells are
totally
healthy.
different
But
like,
you don't
they got-
eat enzymes.
So like
Do
fresh
you?
raw vegetables have enzymes in
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's, you can't get a vitamin for enzymes.
Right. That's why people who are really big on like raw diet are really big on it because of enzymes, like are part of it
Okay.
too. Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. Ways that you were saying, like, what can I do? Go to the drugstore and get
Yeah.
things I need.
Right.
So in other words, you need to eat more clean food.
yeah. Yeah. So if you are like a
And
person
meat.
who yeah.
Wait, it sounds like I'm not eating. Okay, you need to eat meat. and you need to eat vegetables.
Yeah.
Now listen, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus at all. When you're juicing or you're blending things, is that not good enough? Not that it's not good for you at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, would it be better for him to eat a handful of broccoli and cauliflower than it would be to sit there and juice or blend for an
Kinda
hour?
Depends on who you ask. Well, so if
I'm asking you, Dr. Anderson.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, if you don't have enough enzymes and stuff like that, it might be hard for you to break down something like that. So kind of, again, it's kind of like the same thing isn't good for every single person. Some person might.
But if I came to you, if I came back to your clinic before you move, right? Before you go,
We're moving 4 blocks, so you can totally come to the new one.
If it's not on Google Maps, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, we called Google, so we're good.
All right. So if I came to you, here's the cool thing. This is what I'm gonna kind of blow a little smoke. This is the neat thing. I came to you. I went to the clinic and I said, I kind of want an overhaul. I want to know where I am baseline. I have some biological, physical issues, and Dr. Nate was able to help me with that, right? Through here's some stretching, here's some movements. This is some of the things you want to focus on. Then you took some blood samples and you set me up with the kit to take to Wheeling Labs to get the rest of my blood samples done. So now I can come back to you. I can come back. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah. Right.
I can come back to you and you can look at my stuff because you still have that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're still going to have access to that
Yeah.
stuff. And you can say, listen, this is what you're deficient in, and these are the things. These are the things that you need to take. And by
Right.
the way, if you buy these, we're going to help some small kids in Africa. Oh, back in Light Chiropractic, I love you. Right? Is that... I mean,
Yeah,
I laugh a little bit,
I would
but that
hate to
is...
tell you have all these problems, but sorry, I don't have the stuff to fix it. Like, that would be bad.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea,
Sure.
right? I'm going to be like, here's all your issues. Don't know where you're going to go from here. That's probably not where I would go. So, yeah. But a lot of people, they'll come in and they'll say, like, okay, well, I really have I have a B complex. I really like, I'll just take that and I'll eat, instead of doing a fish oil, I'm just going to eat a crap ton of, like, walnuts and flax seeds. And I'm like, fine, cool. Whatever. However you want to get there, that's okay. If you're going to ask me about supplements, I'm going to tell you what a higher quality is. There's different forms of every vitamin. There's just like certain things you can look for to make sure it's not cardboard in that capsule, stuff
All
like
right,
that.
so you brought this up, and I hate to put you on the spot because I don't know what your answer is going to be.
It's okay.
You sure?
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
How do you know your shit's good?
Because if you learn enough about the company and where it's produced and in the lab and stuff like that. So for example, the company that we do has all these crazy machines, right? They can take it's almost like taking my dad's an engineer, so I'm thinking of like a soil boring, like where you pick soil up.
Perfect image.
But but it's kind of like the same thing of like they have this big tub, right, of all the stuff that goes into the supplements. They take a sample all the way through to the very bottom in a billion different spots and analyze it in a microscope and like the spectrometer and stuff to like make sure that literally everything that they say is in there is in there. They make sure everything is temperature controlled. They make sure, so probiotics are like living organisms, right? High quality companies will make sure that, if it says 22 billion probiotics are in there, they'll make sure that on day 1, there's 22 billion and on the day it expires, there's 22 billion. A crappy company is going to put 22 billion in there. And if they all die by the end and you're just taking a capsule full of dust, they don't care. So, yeah, so there's just certain things like that that are, how would you know, right? Unless you find someone who has gone to the company or to the processing facility or done enough research about whatever, the sourcing, like fish oils, like it's better to get fish oils from like the coast of Chile than to get them from the coast of Norway. Like there's just stuff like that.
And this will go back to my thinking or my comments earlier where I said, I'm going to trust a company or I'm going to trust a group of people who are trying to do the best they can do for everybody. And so if I know you're giving back to people, and if I know that you're trying to give wellness to everyone so you don't give a shit who they go to, get the health benefits that you can from, then I'm going to also trust the companies that you believe in. I mean, that's what it comes back to. And I mean, and I think that in our today's society that we really need to have people that we believe in.
And
trust, and that's really fucking
You know what?
hard.
It's one of those things, though. It's trust but verify because we are all very fucking gullible.
Yeah.
Super
naive,
fucking
super naive.
Yep.
super naive and gullible.
Right.
So trust but verify. So I'm going to trust, but I'm going to verify.
Well, that's why I like when people ask you questions. If you have a practitioner or a doctor or whatever, you ask a question to and they freeze and they're like, I don't know what that means. And they aren't willing to A, look it up, B, do any research or even receive your question. That's probably not a good sign. Like you
Right.
probably want someone who's going to be willing to answer your question with a thoughtful answer. If they don't know, just tell you they don't know. I don't know how many times a day all three of us doctors are like, I don't know the answer, but I will find out for you
Right.
and I will get back to you and I will let you know my opinion. There's a certain amount of dignity in being able to say, I don't know, even when you're supposed to be the one with the answer.
Right.
And because like you said, how am I supposed to find out that research on like brain development and stuff? At least I know where to go find it and then I can bring it back to you.
Right.
Whereas, if you're someone who's not willing to learn at all, or be questioned, that's just
Or
not
investigate.
not a good
Yeah.
sign.
red
Yeah.
flags. Red
Yeah,
flags.
red flag. Yeah.
You know what? Kudos to you.
We could do. We
Dr.
could
Kudos
do
to you.
show 2 for
We
sure.
could. You know what? She was nervous because she had said she had watched a previous podcast and
It was
she's
really
like,
long.
"Ooh, 2 hours." We were almost 3 hours into this bitch.
You guys, I'm gonna have to get like fifth.
Yeah,
grader.
but
we have to go.
It tells you though that this is not an unknown thing. Is that nutrition and health is a enormous issue. We have legit statistics
Yeah.
in front
Statistics.
statistics in front of us
Yeah.
with the stuff that we had from you, and we're also delving into legit issues of who do we believe, how do we believe it, how are we going to find
Right.
information out, because I can believe, you're very nice, I get along with you very well, but you could be full of shit and I don't know any difference.
Exactly.
But
'Cause
you
you're
have all the-
gullible.
Until you
'cause I'm a
question
piece of-
me.
I'm naive
right.
and I'm stupid, but you have all this stuff in front of you. I'm like, okay, well, I give you some credence because you have all this stuff in front of you.
Your charts are colored and looks very
But at the
credible.
same time, the key though is that you're saying like, if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer.
Right. Yeah.
And if anybody in any profession says that to you, I'm not sure, but let me see what I can find out about you. It
Yeah.
legitimizes things a little bit for
Well,
you.
and say
That's a
with
made up
like
word,
the
by the way.
Legitimatize?
the testing,
Yeah.
like if for like getting the signature for the allergy testing, she was like, I'm not sure right now, so I'm not going to sign it. But give me a week or give me a month so I can do my research. I'll get back to you and see if I really do think this is legit. Would you not have not been pissed, right? If they came at you that way, than if there was it just
Yeah.
like, hell no, I'm not going to sign your paper.
You know what? It was just the fact that she turned us down coldly.
Okay. Yeah.
That just upset me. Yeah. Give me a reason why.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Don't say to me, you know what? You can just get the same results if you just do a food diary. Well, that's super fucking great. But
Really
my wife and I
yeah.
don't just stay at home all fucking day and feed our
Right.
child and
well, and there's something
write shit down in a journal.
there's some humbleizing aspect of I just don't
Humbleizing.
know.
Is that like jumblizing?
No. There's a humbleizing aspect of I just don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I'm a professional. I'm educated.
Yeah.
I know what I'm fucking doing.
One person can't know
but I really
everything.
don't know
Yeah.
the answer. But you know what? It's a good question. I'm going to find out what it
Right,
is.
right.
That makes you as a human being go, okay, they're a little bit more legit because they're at least they're admitting to some fault of I just don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Hannah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What are your hours?
My hours.
What are the hours of Back in Line Chiropractic? Because
Yeah.
on the 25th of this month, I'm coming in to get my shit.
Nice.
I'm gonna get.
are you
set.
pooping? You're shitting, or you're doing what?
Yeah.
what
Well,
do you-
all the
no.
poop questions.
I'm coming in. I'm
Yeah.
coming into the clinic. I'm gonna get my supplements. I'm gonna start focusing on the
It's go
things
time.
that I'm
Yeah.
short
It's
on.
go time.
It's
I
go
like
time.
that.
And I'm going to start a little GoPro video
There you
something
go.
because I'm going to track my progress because it is important to me. I think a lot of how you interact with the world depends on how you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are insecure, if you don't look in the mirror every day and see a fucking beautiful, sexy person, you walk out into the world and you feel hidden and you interact in a shitty possible way. So the way you feel about yourself, if it's a diet that you need to do, that's the most important thing. Because the number one person, the person that matters the most is you.
There you go.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, then your relationship with your husband sucks.
True.
If you don't take care of yourself, then your relationship with your child who's about to be born sucks. Number one person, take care of yourself and then take care of everybody else.
Got real deep.
Why do I feel like it's a real big downer all of a sudden?
It's not a downer.
You have a newborn baby coming. It's like this is the greatest thing that's ever been happening ever.
But that's what I'm going to do. So what are the hours of Back in Line?
We're 8 to 6 most days. Yeah. So
8 to 6.
The doctors kind of vary in between the three of us, but yeah.
All right, I'm there. I'm there on the 25th. I'm getting my shit. I'm getting everything. I'm getting fish oil if you got it. Are you saying you have everything for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I can afford it, I think I'll come in and do my blood work.
She's going to take care of me, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Hannah. Is there anything else? Is there anything coming up with your practice that you want to talk about or anything specifically that you want to promote? You are moving in how many weeks?
3 weeks. September 19th. We get a new fancy ass build out.
Fancy
Fancy ass. I heard it.
Wow.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Dr. Nate has because he's pretty fucking cool. I mean, he's got like a small space. He's got a small space, but he was...
Got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, though.
He does.
Yeah.
He was a great guy. I got along with him really well. I only saw him for a short amount of time, but my kids loved him. So I'm going to go back.
There you go.
There you go.
Spectator sport for them.
Yeah, exactly. Todd. Dr. Hannah had nothing for us. Todd. What's going on with you? What's going on? What do you want to promote? Is there anything happening with you?
Yes, you should go to Razor Radio. That's one of our podcasts.
What was it again?
Razor Radio. I'll enunciate it better.
There you
And
go.
then the CVO Gun Talk is also a great podcast. Matt's Money Talk, another great podcast. All those things you can find on our website, tpsmedia.co. And you can find us on there. Also, if you are interested in an audiobook, if you're an author and you want to have an audiobook produced and you want to know about people that can come on and read for your audiobook, we have a wonderful website.
A plethora
of people,
That's a good
character
word.
actors that can be part of your audiobook. But get a hold of us on our podcast, on our website, and we'd be happy to hook you up with the right actor to best facilitate your book. And we're excited at the fact that it's another branch of what you guys do every single day.
It's really neat. The fact that we tapped into all the very extremely talented people from theater, Cedar Rapids, which makes up a large portion.
Our community is fantastic.
Yeah, it makes up a large portion of our voiceover actors and actresses, and they are fantastic. And now it is all about time management and having people come in to read because you know,
we have 10 books. Do you have 10 books in the queue?
We have a lot. We have way more than 10. And we had more phone calls today. So it's a good problem to have. More work than you can possibly swallow right now. But we're going to figure it out and move forward. But it's great. It's really exciting. And I love listening to people, especially the lady with the Australian accent.
Oh, she was good. And who was the guy with the really deep, rich, chocolatey
sounded
voice?
like Mike Rowe. He had this very
Oh,
Mike
he's better.
Rowe.
No, there's a different guy. The Mike Rowe guy was great.
He was
But there was a
great.
guy who had a really deep, chocolatey
And
voice.
and
he was a
security officer at Oakdale.
and he was an adopted kid from India.
Yes, he was. That's
and
correct.
he had the deepest. I remember listening to him going, "This guy's voice is like
I'm pretty
butter."
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if my wife heard him talk, she would just
Sexy.
orgasm. There it goes.
Bye.
It just happened. But that's it. That's what's going on at tpsmedia.co. Check that out and check out our YouTube channel, TPS Media, or the Primal Scream. If you just type in the Primal Scream podcast, you'll find all that stuff, CVO Gun Talk, and all those different episodes. You're
They'll
going to see
show up.
Dr. Hannah over here. You're
Yeah.
going to see her. And she's also on Jackie Live. But that's it, really, Dr. Hannah. Thank you for coming
you're
on.
very welcome.
And would you like to come back? Would you like to?
Absolutely.
Oh God, I'd
We
love
can-
you to come back.
It'd be
Shoot
so
the shit
great.
about voodoo and therapists. For
Stop calling it voodoo. It's good things.
But yeah, thank you very much, and we'd love to see you again soon. But that's it for tonight on the Primal Scream Podcast. I'm Matt,
I am Todd.
and that's Hannah, Dr. Hannah. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Good night.